Welcome to the Northwest Sports Fanatics YouTube channel. I am your host, Orion. I got a great show for you here today. We got the Texas Rangers versus the Seattle Mariners. First pitch is going to be here in roughly 5 minutes. So let's cue up the music, take a look at the thumb, and let's get into the starting lineups. Happy Saturday, everyone. And on the thumb, on the left, right fielder for the Texas Rangers, Brendan Nimmo. And on the right, one of the best center fielders in the game, it's J-Rod Julio Rodriguez. Now let's get into the starting lineups here first for the visiting Texas Rangers. Leading off for the Rangers in right field, Brendan Nimmo. Batting second, playing shortstop for Texas, Corey Seager. Batting third, playing left field, Wyatt Langford. Batting cleanup, batting fourth, first baseman, Jake Berger. Batting fifth, DHing for the Rangers, Jock Peterson. Batting sixth, playing third base, Josh Young. Batting seventh, playing center field, Evan Carter. Batting eighth, playing second base, Ezekiel Duran. And batting ninth, catching today for the Rangers, Kyle Higashioka. And on the mound for the Rangers with a 2-2 record, an ERA of 5.40, it is Nathan Eovaldi. And now let's get into the starting lineups for your Seattle Mariners. Leading off for the Mariners at shortstop, J.P. Crawford. Batting second, catching today for Seattle, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Batting third, playing center field, it's J-Rod Julio Rodriguez. Batting cleanup, batting fourth, first baseman, it's Nails, Josh Naylor. Batting fifth, playing left field, Randy Arozarena. Batting sixth, playing right field, Luke Raley. Batting seventh, DHing today for Seattle, it's the Italian stallion, Dominic Canzone. Batting eighth, playing second base, Cole Young. And batting ninth, playing third base, filling in for Brandon Donovan, Leo Rivas. And on the mound for the Mariners with a 2-2 record, an ERA of 3.25, one of our aces, it is Furious George Kirby. And we're going to need Kirby to be electric here today, but not only that, we need the bats to start to come alive. Now, Brendan Donovan ended up exiting the game yesterday with left hip discomfort. He's day-to-day, should be in the lineup, you would assume, tomorrow, and we wish him the best. Hopefully he'll end up being suited and booted because, again, it's been pretty rough to start off this 2026 season, and we definitely need one of our best hitters and defenders out there at third base. We're going to be shooting for 100 likes, 100 on that dono train. And 5 to 15 subs. Let's get it, baby. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. Make sure I get all my screens all situated here. Hope everyone is having a fantastic Saturday. Andrea in the building, what's good? Tech in the building, what's good? Hawks in the building, what's good? Jimmy in the building, what's good? And yeah, hopefully we'll be able to get the victory for you. Happy early birthday to your youngest, obviously tomorrow. And again, it would be really awesome, if we could hit, 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits, and have George Kirby pitch a gem today. And not only that, get 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits, as well as Brian Wu on the mound tomorrow. So again, we know things have been very difficult. We've gone through, a lot of, issues. Dan Wilson and his managing. Andres Munoz and his closing ability, the inability to hit before we got into the Astros series, the lack of communication on defense, injuries to some of our guys like Brendan Donovan with the growing, the flu, and now with left hip discomfort. It's just feels like everything is kind of going against us, and also poor base running. Getting caught asleep, at first base and getting thrown out. Trying to steal second but not getting a good jump. Having our third base coach wave Josh Naylor home when he got thrown out by a mile. I mean, there's so many things, and we're not being negative. We're just stating the obvious. But a lot of things can get better, and some things have improved, like the hitting, but not so much last night. We ended up getting skunked last night and ended up putting up a donut. And again, it doesn't make you feel good when you end up losing 5-0. We already got swept by this team in Texas early in the year. We have to win this game. This is a must-win game for George Kirby, as well as the offense. I don't know how we're going to do it, but we got to find a way, and we got to win tomorrow with Brian Wu. And we've got a 3-game set with the Athletics after this, thankfully at home. And then we go on the road to play the St. Louis Cardinals, and their pitching staff right now, as far as team ERA, is one of the bottom 10. So we might be able to take advantage, even though we haven't really figured out how to win on the road yet this year. Let me make sure I got everything settled in here. All right, let me get this all situated. All right, here we go. George Kirby on the mound, Brandon Nimmo in the box. First pitch from Kirby to Nimmo, high and away. 96 mile an hour, four-seam fastball, 1-0 count. And I'm glad that we got Goldie, there on Fox. And again, a lot of times you end up having some, no-name guys or former players, that end up calling a game, and it's just terrible. 1-0 pitch popped up to Julio Rodriguez. He's there in center field. Down goes Brandon Nimmo, thank God, and that is one away. And we know Nimmo ended up homering off Logan Gilbert. But remember, George Kirby is not Logan Gilbert. I feel that, Kirby, Wu, and Hancock have been the most trustworthy. And as far as Logan Gilbert and Luis Castillo, not so much. Next up is Corey Seager. First pitch. Big swing and a miss. Four-seam fastball, 96 miles an hour there by George Kirby. Like what I see here early out of Furious George, 0-1 count. Oh, 1 pitch, high and away. Four-seam fastball, 97 miles an hour there by Kirby. 1 ball and 1 strike to Corey Seager. 1-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss there by Corey Seager. George Kirby on a heater coming into the game with a 2-2 record, ERA of 3.25. And we know Corey Seager is not an easy guy to get out. Nice start here on Seager. 1-2 pitch, low and at the knees. Slider 87 miles an hour there by George Kirby. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Corey Seager. Top of the first inning, 0-0 here early with nobody on and 1 out. 2-2 pitch. Just gets a piece of it. Count still remains 2 balls and 2 strikes to Corey Seager. Trident's up. Let's go M's. I'm watching as well. I mean, the card, was not really the greatest for night 1. I think night 2's card looks a little bit better. But the matches really weren't that great, the first couple. And obviously they're on the women's now. And, they had to bring Paige back because Nikki wasn't cleared. And, it just kind of feels like they've sold out. Big swing and a miss, and down goes Seager. And that is 2 away. Nice job there by Furious George, giving us that punch out and bringing that electricity that we need from George Kirby. Seager strikes out swinging, and that is 2 away. Next up in the 3-hole, left fielder Wyatt Langford. When I watch, WWE now with ESPN, not only is the creative terrible, it just feels like they've sold out to a lot of rich people and a lot of posers. It's not the same type of brand that I'm used to watching. First pitch, high and away, four-seam fastball, 97 miles an hour to Wyatt Langford, 1-0 count. Now, will I still end up watching the PLEs? Yeah, I'll still end up watching, but I feel like the product is definitely going downhill. 1-0 pitch, big swing and a miss. Four-seam fastball, 97 miles an hour there by Kirby. 1-1 to Wyatt Langford. Sean in the building, what's good? 1-1 pitch, big swing and a miss. Four-seam fastball, 96 miles an hour there by George Kirby. 1-2 to Wyatt Langford. Langford in the box, and George Kirby on the mound. Much better, of a start than giving up a home run to the first batter yesterday, Logan Gilbert. And again, Logan has been a disappointment, like Luis Castillo. And again, Hancock, Kirby, and Wu have been great. They just need run support, and you could really say that for everyone. 1-2 pitch, foul behind the plate. 98 mile an hour four-seam fastball there by George Kirby. Top of the first inning, 0-0 here early with nobody on and 2 outs. Kirby on the mound, Langford in the box. Dave in the building, what's good? 1-2 pitch, low and away. Change up, 90 miles an hour missing there by Kirby. 2 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 out. 0-0 here early between the Rangers and the Mariners. And, things have been really, really rough. But again, if you look at the AL West, everyone is struggling. So if you keep that perspective, it's not as bad as it seems. And Langford with a nice base knock that ends up going into right field, right into Luke Raley's glove. And unfortunate that we gave up a hit there, but at least it wasn't a home run like DeNemo, like Logan Gilbert yesterday. Nice base knock by Wyatt Langford. And next up for the Rangers in the 4-hole, first baseman Jake Berger. 275 average, 5 homers, and 17 ribbies this season. Come on, George. First pitch from Kirby to Berger. Four-seam fastball, 96 miles an hour, right down the middle, 0-1 count. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. Marine Bean in the building, what's good? Must-win game today, must-win game tomorrow. And again, the AL West is, not a very good division, this year, so we have to be thankful for that. But no one is satisfied with an 8-13 record. At least we're winning games at home, but we can't win on the road. And at least we have the Athletic Series after this, but we need to get the job done here today. Pitches outside, four-seam fastball, 97 miles an hour by Kirby. 1-1 to Jake Berger. 1-1 pitch, big swing and a miss. Nasty slider there by Furious George. 88 miles an hour outside of the zone, getting Berger to bite. 1-2 with a runner at first and 2 outs. Top of the first inning. 0-0 here early between the Rangers and the Mariners. We need to be able to strike early, strike often, and we got to try to get to 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits today and tomorrow with George Kirby on the mound and Brian Wu. We just got to be able to dust ourselves off and try to be able to move forward. 1-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss. Down goes Jake Berger. George Kirby looking electric here to start the first inning. Nice job, Furious George. I love it. Way to bring that electricity, George Kirby. A lot better than looking up at the scoreboard and being down 1-2-3-4-5-0 early on. Gave up a hit to Langford, but he didn't score, and we're okay with that. Now let's see who's up next here for the Seattle Mariners. Leading off for the Mariners at shortstop, J.P. Crawford. And obviously that normally would be Brendan Donovan, but had to leave the game, obviously, before the game ended with left hip discomfort. He's day-to-day. Should be in the lineup, I would assume, tomorrow, unless he ends up having a setback. Get better, Brendan Donovan. Batting second, catching for Seattle, the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. We definitely need that bat to light up. If it's not going to be a home run, we need ribbies. And batting third, the best center fielder in the game, it's J-Rod, Julio Rodriguez. We could definitely use a home run out of Julio as well as Cal, but if we can't get the home run, we need RBIs and big base hits. Let's go, Julio. And on the mound for the Rangers with a 2-2 record, ERA of 5.40, Nathan Eovaldi. We ended up hitting 23,800 last night, which is fantastic. We gained a sub since the last commercial break. Appreciate you. And now only 97 subs to go to 23,900. We were getting pretty close to that 24,000 number, which is exciting. Going to the bottom of the first inning, 0-0 here early between the Rangers and the Mariners. TJ's all over it. All right, we're at 19 likes, 81 to get to 100. Nathan Eovaldi on the mound. JP Crawford in the box. Let's go, JP. JP actually has done pretty well filling in for Donovan when he had the growing and when he had the flu. Let's see if JP can end up being one of those unsung heroes here for us here on Fox this afternoon. First pitch is fouled off behind the plate. 0-1 count. Sinker 94 miles an hour there by Nathan Eovaldi. Global broadcast on Fox. So it gives a chance for, us to be able to be on the global scene, even though it hasn't been that pretty in 2026 for us. 0-1 pitch, low and at the knees, splitter, 87 miles an hour, missing, going close into the feet and the dirt there. 1 ball and 1 strike to JP Crawford. I absolutely agree as well, 1-1 pitch. JP, big swing and a miss, cutter, 90 miles an hour. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Eovaldi to Crawford, and again, things have not gone our way, with the managing of Dan Wilson, Andres Munoz at the closer, Donnie getting injured multiple times and getting sick, the inability to hit until we got into the Astro series as JP crushes it down that first base line. Run, JP. This should be a double, maybe even a triple. Let's go. Stand up double by JP Crawford. That's what I'm talking about, baby. And again, the AL West isn't very good. Hell, the American League isn't very good this year. So again, there's, going to be a little bit of wiggle room. Yeah. Does our record suck ass right now at 8-13? Yeah. Can we not win on the road? Yeah. But again, at least the AL West overall, everyone in the division is struggling. It's not just us. So that can give us a little bit of comfort in a bad situation early on. Nice job there by J.P. Crawford, bringing some electricity for the Mariners, getting a hit in his first at-bat, and not only that, getting a double. Bring him home. Next up is the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. First pitch to the big dumper, Cal Raleigh, high and away, 1-0 count. Come on, baby. Curveball, 76 miles an hour by Eovaldi, missing. 1-0 pitch, fouls it behind the plate, out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike to the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Trident's up, let's go M's. Let's go. One pitch from Eovaldi. Big swing and a miss there by Cal Raleigh. Cutter, 90 miles an hour by Nathan Eovaldi. 1 ball and 2 strikes with a runner at second and no outs. And you can definitely feel, Cal and Naylor are pressing, putting a lot of pressure on themselves, especially Cal Raleigh after hitting 60 home runs last season. The WBC has not been kind to a lot of players, hitters and pitchers. But at some point, Cal has to be able to get into a rhythm. I mean, we don't expect 60 home runs. He might only get 30, but we need him to get going. 1-2 pitch. Pops it up into left field, fading out of play. Nice souvenir there for a fan there in the 5th row. 1 ball and 2 strikes with a runner at second and no outs. We need to bunt more. We need to steal bags more. We just need to communicate more on defense. We can't get caught stealing. We can't get caught napping at first. There's a lot of things that need to be better. Dan Wilson needs to stop going, with the splits and, substituting guys out, because obviously teams know once they go with the lefty pitcher, and eliminates Canzone and Rayleigh, we don't win. We have to be able to just let those guys play. And obviously the GM and a few others, they have a certain type of strategy, but guess what? It hasn't worked in the last 2 years. Let the best players play the whole game. Pitch is high and away on a 2-2 count. Cutter and a curve back to back. And now that is low and at the knees. And now we got a full count here after that splitter. 89 miles an hour, misses. Come on, Cal, take the walk if it's there. 3-2 pitch from Eovaldi. Cal fouls it off behind the plate. And again, sometimes you got to adjust your swing. I feel like Julio and Cal were going for home run swings every at-bat in the first few games, and it wasn't working. Julio has adjusted for more single-double swings, and he's been pretty good in the last 10 games. Cal, still waiting on him. 3 balls and 2 strikes to the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Keep grinding. 3-2 pitch, and Cal just gets a piece of that. Splitter, 89 miles an hour there by Nathan Eovaldi. Count still full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Come on, Cal. We still believe in you. Let's go, Cal. Cal Raleigh in the box. Nathan Eovaldi on the mound. Bottom of the first inning, 0-0 here early. J.P. Crawford with a double at the first at-bat. He's been good. Filling in for Brendan Donovan. Slow dribbler towards first base. Flip to Eovaldi, and that is 1 away, but ends up bringing J.P. Crawford over to third base. Nice job. Obviously, it wasn't exactly what we wanted, but bringing that runner to third is fantastic. Now, let's see if Julio Rodriguez can get a home run or an RBI single or double to make it 1-0 Mariners, or possibly 2-0 Mariners. We definitely need to get off to a faster start, especially when we got the goose egg yesterday. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. Captain in the building, what's good? We're at 30 with 95 in the room. Bottom of the first inning, 0-0 here early. J.P. Crawford to start off the game with a double. And Cal dribbled to first base and ended up getting out just moments ago, but got J.P. to scamper to third. First pitch to Julio Rodriguez, low and away. Off-speed curveball, 77 miles an hour by Nathan Eovaldi. 1 ball and no strikes to Julio Rodriguez. Come on, J-Rod. I got the J-Rod jersey on here today. We need that support. 1-0 pitch. And Julio, there we go! My boy! Julio Rodriguez has been hot in the last 10 games. J.P. Crawford walks home from third. 1-0 Mariners. That's what I'm talking about. Let's go. This is a must-win game. Things have not been going our way, but the AL West stinks, and it's not like, we're down by 8 games in the division. Everyone stinks in the AL West, so we just got to be able to focus on ourselves and understand that we can get the job, done, and we can turn this ship around. Next up is Nails, Josh Naylor. Give me a leg kick, and maybe we can get a single, double, or home run. First pitch is high and away. Cutter, 91 miles an hour by Nathan Eovaldi. 1-0 count. 1-0 Mariners, and already in the first inning, we've done a hell of a lot better than all of yesterday. Great job. 1-0 pitch, and Naylor dropping a bunt. I said I wanted to see some bunts, but I didn't expect Naylor to be a guy to drop a bunt down. Splitter, 87 miles an hour, a bunt attempt by Naylor. Interesting. 1 ball and 1 strike with a runner at first and 1 out. You would normally think J.P. Crawford, Cole Young, Leo Rivas may be bunting, but 1-1 pitch and a laser towards third base and foul. Four-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour there by Nathan Eovaldi. 1 ball and 2 strikes with a runner at first, Julio, who's got the RBI single to put us obviously on the board early. 1-0 Seattle. Tridents up. Let's go M's. And again, that was something that we desperately needed. We needed the top of the order to produce. JP with a double. Obviously, Cal ended up, just with a slow dribbler to first and ended up being out, but ended up advancing the runner, JP to third, and then Julio with a single that gets past the infield, exactly how you want to write it up. And again, obviously a home run to make it 2-0 would have been best case scenario, but again, great job by Julio. 117 stolen bases, 9th in MLB since he came into the league, Julio Rodriguez. Naylor calls time, but you couldn't have scripted a better start. And again, hopefully we'll be able to add on another run or 2 if we're lucky here. And as bad as things have gone for us this year, again, everyone in the AL West is terrible. So, we have to be able to keep that in mind. It's not just, oh, woe is me, our team stinks, we're 8-13. If everyone stinks, it's not as bad. 1-2 pitch, high and away. Cutter 89 miles an hour there by Eovaldi. And the difference between, our team and the rest of the teams in the AL West, we actually have top tier talent, top to bottom. There's just been a lot of other things that have gotten in the way. Dan Wilson, Andres Munoz, Logan Gilbert, Luis Castillo, lack of communication, just a lot of things. Julio back to first base just in time. Runners falling asleep at first, not being able to steal bags efficiently. Not being able to, execute the hit and run, having our third base coach calling guys home like Josh Naylor and getting thrown out by a mile yesterday. I mean, there's a number of things that have gone wrong, but we can turn this ship around. 2-2 pitch, and that ends up going out of play. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Josh Naylor. And for a team that has World Series aspirations, I don't think that we expected it to be this bad this early. But at least we have the talent to turn it around. For some of those other teams in the AL West and in the American League, they don't. So, it could be worse. We could be the Mets in the National League. Losers of 10 straight. And that is strike 3 looking on a 2-2 pitch by Eovaldi. Down goes Naylor, and that is 2 away. It's okay, Josh. We still love you. And obviously the player that struggled the most so far needs to get going. Give me that leg kick. And next up in the 5-hole, left fielder Randy Arozarena. A liability in ground balls in left field. Pop-ups pretty good. And in the box, more times than not, usually produces. Come on, Randy. We had bases loaded for Randy and Luke, and they did not cash in yesterday, and that definitely hurt our momentum. Let's see if Randy can get a base hit here. First pitch, takes a strike looking low and at the knees. Curveball, 76 miles an hour by Eovaldi. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss. High and inside. Splitter, 88 miles an hour by Nathan Eovaldi. No balls and 2 strikes to Randy Arozarena. And a lot of times when our guys get in 0-2 counts, it's usually strike 3. So, big swing and a miss. Pop up, ground out. Let's see if Randy can battle. And I'm happy to say my pup is doing much better today, which is a good thing. 0-2 pitch, low and away. Splitter, 89 miles an hour there by Eovaldi. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Randy Arozarena. Nathan Eovaldi on the mound. Randy Arozarena in the box. We got a global broadcast here today on Fox, not on Mariners TV. So more people will have access to this game. And a slow dribbler there. And a force out with the fielder's choice at second. Julio goes down, and that is out number 3. But not after getting that first run on the board and getting an RBI single. Thank you so much, Julio Rodriguez. And again, he has been very good, within the last 8, 9, 10 games. He's definitely turned it around. We're still waiting on guys like Cal Raleigh and Josh Naylor to do the same. Nice job, Julio. You're the man. End of the first inning, 1-0 Mariners, and that feels damn good after putting up a donut yesterday. Let's see who's up next here in the top of the second for the Texas Rangers. Next up for the Rangers in the 5-hole, DHing Jock Peterson. Batting second in the 6-hole, third baseman Josh Young. And batting third in the 7-hole, center fielder Evan Carter. And on the mound for the Mariners, one of our aces, 2-2 record, ERA of 3.25 coming in. It is Furious George Kirby. And we know George Kirby has been good, but hasn't got the run support. Brian Wu has been good, hasn't got the run support. And Emerson Hancock has gotten run support for the most part, but then had Mooney with the meltdown against the Padres. He should be 3-1. But again, at least we got 3 pitchers out of 5 that are, somewhat doing well. We got obviously Bryce Miller doing a rehab start there for the, AAA affiliate. So we'll see in about a month what he looks like. And if they were smart, they would keep Hancock on the staff and replace, potentially, Bryce Miller for Luis Castillo. But who knows if they would even do that or not. We know Dan Wilson isn't the brightest light bulb in the bunch. And again, we have to stop with the splits. We need to have Luke Raley and Dominic Canzone play the whole game. I don't care if a left-handed pitcher comes in. Rob Refsnyder hasn't got a hit all year. Connor Joe is ass, and Mitch Garver can't hit either. So again, it's one thing when you have guys that can play once every 5 games and actually get a hit right-handed. Maybe like a guy like a Victor Robles. But again, we don't have access to him yet. And again, these splits are not working, and they haven't worked last year. They're not working this year, and I know Hollander and a lot of the other guys, the GM and the manager, think that, maybe this is the way to get it done. But again, if it doesn't work, you have to adjust. You have to pivot. Let's go to the top of the second inning, 1-0 Mariners. Trident's up. Let's go M's. Global broadcast here on Fox. Top of the second inning, 1-0 Seattle. And again, magic number for us will be 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits today with George Kirby, 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits with Brian Wu on the mound tomorrow. And if we can get those numbers, it should give us a chance to win in each game. First pitch to Jock Peterson, takes a strike looking right down the middle, 4-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour, 0-1 count. Jock batting .233, 1 home run and 3 ribbies here in 2026. 0-1 pitch, high and inside. 1 ball and 1 strike to Jock Peterson. 4-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour on the corner, but we don't get the call. 1-1 pitch, fouls it behind the plate to the T-Mobile bricks. 4-seam fastball, 96 miles an hour there by George Kirby. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Jock Peterson. And at some point, it might be, George Kirby, Brian Wu, Emerson Hancock, Kate Anderson, Ryan Sloan, with a little bit of Gilbert, if they decide to, have him on the staff moving forward. Castillo definitely needs to go, and I just can't wait for the new blood to come in, and we definitely need a shot in the arm. Bring up Colt Emerson. What are we waiting for? 1-2 pitch, low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Jock Peterson. 2-2 pitch, high and away. 4-seam fastball, 96 miles an hour, missing by an inch. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Kirby to Peterson. And George doesn't walk too many guys, and hopefully he'll be able to get going here. 3-2 pitch, and the first walk there for George Kirby. And George, as far as starting pitchers, usually walks the least amount of guys, typically. And hopefully that will be one of the rare walks here today. Career versus the Rangers, 8-1 record, 1.31 ERA, most wins versus any opponent with a whip of .77, 55 Ks to 7 walks. Next up is Josh Young. First pitch, high and inside to Josh Young. 4-seam fastball, 96 miles an hour, 1-0 count. Only MLP pitcher with more career starts than walks allowed. That's awesome. 116 to 99 walks. George is the man. 1-0 pitch. Fouls it out of play into right field. 4-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour. He's got some steady heat, obviously in the strike zone. And a lot of the pitches that are ball are, maybe about a half inch, an inch, from where they need to be. So far, so good here early. One pitch, low and away. 2 balls and 1 strike to Josh Young. Two-one pitch, a little dribbler right back to George. And not in time for the double play. The camera angle by the cameraman there was terrible. They had the reverse angle, and then they didn't even flip it back around, even though there wasn't a throw to first. I was really hoping for a potential, double play, but we get the fielder's choice, and we get that out at second. Peterson out at second, and that is 1 down. Next up in the 7-hole, center fielder Evan Carter. On deck is Ezekiel Duran, making his first appearance in this Ranger Mariner series, as well as the 9-hole hitter Kyle Higashioka. And a hard hit ball towards right field and foul, thank God. Top of the second inning, 1-0 Mariners with a runner at first and 1 out. George Kirby on the mound, Evan Carter in the box. Trident's up. Let's go M's. 0-1 pitch. Popped up. We'll take that. Get that, Mariners. And Rivas is there in foul territory, filling in for Brandon Donovan today with left hip soreness. He left halfway through the matchup yesterday. It doesn't seem serious. And again, he should be in the lineup, you would assume, tomorrow. And if not tomorrow, the first game of the Athletic series. He's got a tendency to, miss 2 games with the groin, 2 with the flu, and hopefully it won't be 2 with this left hip soreness, but it is possible. Carter flies out to third, and that is 2 away. Next up is Ezekiel Duran. First pitch, big swing and a miss. Tries to bait Ezekiel Duran with a pitch outside. Duran bites. Four-seam fastball out of the zone. 0-1 count. George Kirby on the mound. Ezekiel Duran in the box. 0-1 pitch. Low and at the knees. Slider 86 miles an hour missing by Kirby. 1 ball and 1 strike to Ezekiel Duran. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats. The best beats on YouTube. And a little dribbler towards first. Damn it. Just gets past Cole Young. And Luke Raley scoops it up. But a nice base knock there by Ezekiel Duran. Just out of reach there from Cole Young. And Cole has actually been one of the best defenders on the team, making plays like that on the regular. But that's just a nicely placed hit there by Duran. Next up in the 9-hole, catcher Kyle Higashioka, who ended up doing some damage against the Mariners in Texas where they swept us. Got to be careful on how you pitch to Kyle. He had a home run against us, in that first time around for his only home run of the season so far. Julio had an RBI single. JP scored from third, 1-0 Mariners. First pitch, low and away to Kyle Higashioka. Slider 86 miles an hour by Kirby, 1-0 count. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. Top of the second inning, runners at first and second with 2 outs. 1-0 pitch to Higashioka. In there for a strike. Beautiful slider. 87 miles an hour there by Kirby. 1 ball and 1 strike with runners at first and second and 2 outs. And we have to try to keep our lead as long as possible and keep adding on to it. Especially putting up a donut, putting up a 0 yesterday. That was not ideal. 1-1 pitch from Kirby. Little dribbler, and it goes foul. Sinker, 97 miles an hour towards that third base line by Higashioka. 1 ball and 2 strikes with runners at first and second and 2 outs. And they just showed the home run against George Kirby, where Higashioka ended up getting his only home run of the season, and in that game earlier where we got swept by the Rangers in Texas. Can't have that happen again. We've already got swept by the Padres, and then we did some sweeping, some mopping, of our own against the Astros, but, there's no real in between. It's either we're sweeping someone or we're getting swept, and it would be nice to win 2 out of 3 and, win a series, but we're going to have Kirby pitch well. The bats have to come alive. They have so far early, and we're going to need the same thing tomorrow with Brian Wu on the bump. 1-2 pitch from Kirby. Higashioka pops it up and fading out of play, foul. Slider 86 miles an hour by George Kirby. 1 ball and 2 strikes with runners at first and second and 2 outs. Top of the second inning, 1-0 Seattle. Yeah, well, Cal moved JP over from second to third, even though he grounded out. But Julio had the RBI single, and then JP scored from third. 1-2 pitch, and Higashioka fouls back that 4-seam fastball, 97 miles an hour. 1 ball and 2 strikes with runners at first and second and 2 outs. Let's leave those guys stranded and keep this 1-0 lead. Captain says we're at 40 likes, 118 in the room, and we're definitely off to a good start, and hopefully we'll be able to get to 100 and 100. 1-2 pitch, high and inside. Pitch gets away from Kirby there with the knuckle curve, 82 miles an hour. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Kyle Higashioka. Two pitch from Kirby. Slider getting away from him there. 87 miles an hour, low and away. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Kyle Higashioka. Got to be able to get out of this jam, and Kirby's not a guy that typically walks batters often. He's got one walk today, but most games he has none, if we're really being honest. You got to find a way to get the job done here, and I believe he will. 3-2 pitch from Kirby. Got him! Big strike 3. And imagine if he would have walked, Higashioka, or if he would have got a base knock and all of a sudden we're down 2-1 or 3-1, we're going to be on an uphill battle right at the beginning of the game. Nice job by George Kirby, a guy that we can trust. Like Brian Wu and Emerson Hancock, Logan Gilbert, Luis Castillo, not so much. Nice job there by Furious George. But hopefully Castillo and Gilbert will get better as the season ends up going along. Let's see who's up next here for the Mariners in the bottom of the second inning, and let's see if we can add on to our 1-0 lead. Next up for the Mariners in the 6th hole, right fielder Luke Raley. Batting second in the 7th hole, DHing the Italian stallion Dominic Canzone. And batting third in the 8th hole, second baseman Cole Young. And on the mound for the Rangers, Nathan Eovaldi. And we gained 2 more subs since the last commercial break. 95 subs to go to 23,900. Let's go. We're getting close to 24,000 subs, and we're also getting close to 6 million views on the channel. I appreciate every one of you. Shout out to all the new subs we've acquired, almost 400 since the season started, as well as all the OGs that have been here for quite some time. All right, we're at 46 likes. 54 to 100. Going to the bottom of the second inning, 1-0 Mariners. 1 run, 2 hits, no errors there for Seattle, which is great. 0 runs, 2 hits, no errors for Texas. And Julio Rodriguez singled to right in the bottom of the first inning. J.P. Crawford scored from third. 1-0 Seattle. Much better than the donut that we put up yesterday. And, J.P. has been really good as a leadoff hitter, for Brendan Donovan. Not to say that he should replace him, but again, having J.P., in that spot, obviously played it for quite some time, has definitely come up big, even though his batting average may be low. A lot of guys' batting averages are low, but within these few games where you had Donovan with the growing and the flu, and now with the hip, he's been pretty good. First pitch is low and away with that splitter to Raley. 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, big swing and a miss with the cutter high and inside. 1 ball and 1 strike to Luke Raley. Let's go, Luke. Leading the team in RBIs, hits, or RBIs, home runs, and batting average. So again, we need to get Luke Raley going as he pitches to Luke Raley there, and he fouls it off behind the plate. 4-seam fastball, 93 miles an hour by Nathan Eovaldi. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Luke Raley. Eovaldi on the mound, Luke Raley in the box. And they got Brian Wu mic'd up here with the interview. 1-2 pitch. High and away, cutter 90 miles an hour. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Luke Raley. Now, too early to be even thinking about trades. Way too early. We just have to understand that the AL West, the division that we're in, stinks. So it's not like we just stink. Everyone stinks. So, and then not, really one team has really separated themselves from everyone else dramatically. So even though it's been a very, tough year so far, it's not as bad as people think. 2-2 pitch, fouled off there by Raley. Keep grinding, baby. Cutter, 91 miles an hour there by Eovaldi. And that ends up going towards first base and foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes, nobody on, and no outs. Bottom of the second inning, 1-0 Seattle. Yeah, anytime you end up having a global broadcast on Fox and they do these interviews, you're always going to get someone, throwing seeds or, or something. They always do that. 2-2 pitch. Pitch is fouled off, low and away. Curveball 76 miles an hour there by Eovaldi. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Luke Raley. ERA 7th, whip 2nd, base on balls. I believe it said 3rd. Wu is the man. 2-2 pitch. Pitch is inside. Curveball 77 miles an hour. Good eye by Raley. Count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Eovaldi to Luke Raley. Just gets a piece of that one. Splitter 88 miles an hour fouled back to the T-Mobile bricks. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. Bottom of the 2nd inning, 1-0 Seattle. Yeah, I don't think really anybody is looking for trades even at this point. I mean, again, it could be a lot worse. We could be the Mets on a 10-game losing streak. I mean, we already felt the pain of what it felt like to lose 4 or 5 in a row. Imagine losing 10 in a row. So again, in the payroll that the Mets have, it's disgusting, but that's what happens. Just because you spend the money doesn't mean you're going to build a winner. And a little slow dribbler there, throw to first, and down goes Luke Raley with a good attempt. A 10-pitch at-bat that ends up in a little ground ball there to second base, and that is 1 away. I mean, you got to be able to use those pieces. Ken Griffey Jr., when he's in the building. Ichiro Suzuki is normally there on the daily. Edgar Martinez obviously can put in some, good words with Seitzer. And then, every once in a while, you'll even have Randy Johnson make his way to Seattle. But obviously with Griffey and Randy being professional photographers, they're not going to be able to be there all the time. Next up is Dominic Canzone, the Italian stallion. First pitch takes a strike, high and away, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, big swing and a miss. No balls and 2 strikes to Dominic Canzone. And this interview is going way too long. They need to focus on the game, but that's what happens when you get Fox or some of these other, entities that end up, doing this. It gives them a chance for people to see Wu on the global broadcast, but there's a time and a place for an interview. 0-2 pitch, big swing and a miss. And that is the second punch out there for Eovaldi. And I love Wu, but again, there's a time and a place for interviews, and we want to watch the game. And at least they have the picture-in-picture, but again, you could be doing this at a different time. Down goes Dominic Canzone. The Italian stallion cannot strike in his first at-bat. Next up in the 8-hole, Cole Young. First pitch to Young, little blooper into left field, yes! And Cole Young is starting to heat up like he did at the beginning of the year. And again, he knows how to pull that baseball into right field and left field. Nice job there by Cole Young. Nice job, Cole. And it's, again, you can ask him a couple questions, and have it for one batter, but you're really going to interview him during the whole bottom of the 2nd inning? Come on, Fox, be better. Next up, third baseman filling in for Brendan Donovan, Leo Rivas. First pitch, low and at the knees, 1-0 count. And it's pretty clear, Rob Refsnyder doesn't deserve to be on this team. Connor Joe doesn't deserve to be on this team. And Leo Rivas is a AAA player. He's just not a big league player. And we need to bring up Colt Emerson, who can actually play third base, second base, or short. But again, Dan Wilson is not the brightest light bulb in the bunch. 1-0 pitch, high and away. 2 balls and no strikes to Leo Rivas. Some people have situational awareness and they understand who's on their team and what abilities they have. And, some are clueless like Dan, unfortunately. But Scott Service was the same way. 2-0 pitch, high and away. Let's see if Leo can force the walk here. 3 balls and no strikes to Leo Rivas. And again, Leo's a guy that you can root for. Obviously been in the minor league system for 10 plus years. But again, it's all about adaptability, consistency. And again, he's just, when you got guys like Colt Emerson waiting in the wings, you got to call him up. You're doing your team a disservice by not calling him up yet. 3-0 pitch, takes a strike looking on the corner, high and away. 4-seam fastball, 93 miles an hour by Eovaldi. 3 balls and 1 strike with a runner at first and 2 outs. 3-1 pitch, fouls that one off. Cutter, 90 miles an hour by Eovaldi. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes with a runner at first and 2 outs. 1-0 Mariner lead. And if you remember last year, Cole Young didn't get called up until I believe around June. Hopefully they're not dumb enough to think that they can wait that long for Colt Emerson. 3-2 pitch, and fouls it off himself. Splitter 86 miles an hour there by Eovaldi. 3 balls and 2 strikes with the runner at first and 2 outs. Captain says we're at 50 likes, 50 more to get there. Three-two pitch. And fouls that one off again. This is actually one of the better Leo at-bats that we've seen. Working the count. Love me some Brian Wu. I got a pretty good memory. I'm not going to be 100% on everything, but I got a pretty good memory with things, especially with the Mariners. And Rivas with a little blooper to left, and that is out number 3. All right, it's the end of the second inning, 1-0 Seattle. Let's see who's up next here for the Rangers in the top of the third inning. Next up for the Rangers, back at the top of the order, 0-for-1 right fielder Brandon Nimmo. Batting second, 0-for-1 with a K, shortstop Corey Seager. And batting third, 1-for-1 left fielder Wyatt Langford. And on the mound for the Mariners, coming into the game with a 2-2 record, ERA of 3.25 has looked great so far, George Kirby. And again, Kirby's looking good this year, just needs more run support. Same thing goes with Brian Wu, has looked pretty good for the most part, with a game or two, a little shaky, but, Brian Wu is the man. This needs a little bit more run support. And same thing with Emerson Hancock. And we just got to hope that Logan Gilbert and Luis Castillo can figure it out before the year is up. End of the second inning, 1-0 Seattle. $95 subs to go to 23,900, 195 to get to 24,000. Let's go. 8 more likes to 60. Let's get there. Bye-bye. Let's win it for Riz, baby. 50th anniversary for the Seattle Mariners, 40 plus years in the radio booth. He's retiring this year. We gotta win it for Riz. Trident's up. Let's go M's. First pitch to Brandon Nimmo, takes a strike looking right down the middle with a slider, 83 miles an hour, 0-1 count. Well, that's your opinion. But him and Scott Service doing the splits, and sometimes that's going to be, a call from above with Hollander and some of the others, but again, he's not very good in, pressure situations. Keeps guys in too long, pulls guys too soon, brings the wrong guys in, substitutes the wrong guys, when a lefty pitcher comes in, so you might like him, but I know a majority of the fan base isn't really on board. Again, he ain't no Lou Piniella, and again, he might be better than Scott Service, but not by much. And a little dribbler there by Nimmo to third, throw to first by Rivas, and that is 1 away. But if you love Chris, if you love him, that's on you. But for a lot of us, we deserve better. And again, even when we were playing well last year, he was making mistakes, on lineups and whatnot, it's like, when are you going to learn that you can't just keep doing the same thing over and over, and that's what average and below average managers do. They follow everyone else. They're not able to be able to kind of buck the trend. Just because a lefty comes in doesn't mean you need to take out your best hitter in Luke Raley, number 1 in RBIs, home runs, and batting average, and then bring in a guy like Connor Joe. Only dumbasses do shit like that. First pitch from Kirby to Seager, fouls that one off, 0-1 count. And it's not only that particular at-bat, then you don't get Luke Raley or Dominic Canzone later in the game, defensively and offensively. You can't rely on Connor Joe, Mitch Garver, or Rob Refsnyder, and it's already been proven. I mean, yeah, we're pretty early in the year, but I don't think anyone's got confidence in those players. I sure as hell don't. Little dribbler here up the middle. Cole Young's got it. Throw to Naylor, and that is 2 away. And again, Dan Wilson, obviously gets the benefit of the doubt for being a former player, in that Randy Johnson Mariner era, and had some good moments, but again, just because you're a former player doesn't mean you're going to be a good manager. Top of the third inning, 1-0 Seattle with nobody on and 2 outs. Next up is Wyatt Langford. 1 for 1 with a single in the first, batting .225, 1 home run and 4 ribbies so far. First pitch from Kirby to Langford, fouls that one off, 0-1 count. And again, if Dan was smart, he wouldn't, be splitting, with a lot of these guys. I don't want to see Connor Joe, or Rob Refsnyder play at all. 0. Let Luke Raley play the whole game. Let Dominic Canzone play the whole game. I'd rather have them play the whole game and then strike out, pop up, or ground out rather than, having them only bat twice and then bringing in some scrubs and then they go 0 for 2 and then we lose the game. We want to give ourselves the best chance to win every game. 0-1 pitch, takes a strike looking right down the middle. No balls and 2 strikes to Wyatt Langford. Oh, 2 pitch, hard hit ball into right field, fading foul. No balls and 2 strikes to Wyatt Langford. Top of the third inning, nobody on with 2 outs, 1-0 Seattle. And that's the problem also with baseball. There's not a whole lot of really great managers. It's not like in football, where you can actually get someone from college or, recruit someone from an offensive coordinator to head coach. Throw to first, and that is out number 3. Good defense there by the Mariners. And it's not like you get a lot of coaches in college baseball that are elite that move on from their college team to come to the big leagues. It's just kind of a recycling pool of guys that get hired and fired. And it's really hard to find, someone that is really elite. And if you think about it, out of 30 coaches or 30 AKA managers that are in baseball, how many of those are actually like good managers? A couple? It's not that good. It's hard to be able to find someone, but I definitely feel that we're, deserving of someone better than Dan. Dan can get us to a certain point, but again, a lot of times with his decision-making, especially in high stress situations, he's terrible. He is not good. No one can convince me otherwise. Let's go to the bottom of the third inning and see who's up next here for the Mariners. Just like in the meltdown against the Padres, you had a choice, after giving up 2 base knocks, right, to pull, obviously, your closer, which hasn't been good this year in Mooney. And then you have Brash warming up with Ferrer. He goes with Ferrer, wrong choice. And, again, is he going to move Brash to being the closer? That's what a good manager would do until Mooney is right. But again, he fails to do the things that a lot of people would. Facts. Let's go to the bottom of the third inning, 1-0 Seattle. Next up for the Mariners, 1 for 1 with a run, shortstop J.P. Crawford. Batting second, 0 for 1, the big dumper, catcher Cal Raleigh. And batting third, 1 for 1 with an RBI, center fielder Julio Rodriguez. And on the mound for the Rangers, Nathan Eovaldi. Gained 2 more subs since the last commercial break. 93 subs to go to 23,900. Bottom of the third inning, 1-0 Seattle. All right, 54 likes, 46 to 100. Even if you go back to last year when we were good, he made a lot of bonehead decisions, with the pitching staff. And again, how many teams have the luxury of having a closer in Mooney who used to be top 5, top 10, now looking like a bottom 10 guy. And then we have another guy in Brash that can actually take that role and run with it. Not many teams have two guys that could be qualified as closers. Hell, Brash is good enough, to pitch a couple innings, just like Bizzardo, and again, sometimes that's what needs to be done. Bizzardo needs to pitch 2 innings. Brash needs to pitch 2 innings instead of just 1 and then throwing in like a Casey Legomina and then we fucking lose the game, or a Cooper Criswell or a fucking Cole Wilcox, a AAA pitcher. Those simple decisions, it's either you understand baseball or you don't. And again, a lot of managers continue to kind of do the same thing that other guys do because they're afraid to be able to kind of do something outside of the box, and again, a lot of these managers are very average to below average, and it shows. 1-2 pitch. JP pops it up. Should be an easy play here in the left field. And that is 1 away. But there's 100 different things that I can bring up, that Dan Wilson's fucked up on in the last 2 years. But again, we're stuck with him for now. He'll be able to get us to a certain point, but he ain't no Lou Piniella. Next up in the 2-hole, catcher, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. On deck is Julio Rodriguez. Yeah, Wu is on the bump tomorrow. Cal Raleigh, hard hit ball, deep right field, back. So, I thought that was going to be gone. Caught at the warning track. Oh, my. That crack of the bat, gave me memories of last season with him hitting 60 home runs. But unfortunately, the wind doesn't carry that one out, and that is 2 away. That's unfortunate. Next up, in the 3-hole, center fielder, Julio Rodriguez. Let's go, J-Rod. You got the RBI single to bring JP home. They're at third base. 1-0 Seattle. And Julio with a hard hit ball into the gap. Oh, and they almost run into each other, but the communication was good. And Wyatt Langford making plays there out in left field. And unfortunately, we can't get that ball to drop. And that is the end of the Mariners. End of the 3rd inning. 1-0 Seattle. Let's see who's up next here as we go to the top of the 4th inning. Next up for the Rangers, top of the 4th inning, 0 for 1 with a K, first baseman Jake Berger. Batting second, 0 for 0 with a base on ball, DHing Jock Peterson. And batting third, 0 for 1, third baseman in the 6-hole, Josh Young. My program started to freeze up where I had the photos and the music. And again, I need to be able to scroll up and down to be able to change the music as well as to go through the photos, and it froze like it did in the late 8th, 9th inning yesterday. So, when that happens, I got to reboot the system, and, luckily I'm able to kind of just refresh the page, and, usually things will end up working and it looks like everything is good. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Well, Mooney hasn't been good, all year. He's been really, really shaky. Even the times that we won games, he had like runners at first and second or bases loaded, and we barely got out of the jam, with like a little dribbler towards third, toe tap on the bag. And, we had the defense kind of bail him out a few times. The meltdown was the first bad one, throw to first. Nice job there by Cole Young as Berger dribbles one in between first and second base. Cole Young has been absolutely fantastic on defense for the Mariners, much improved, and that is one away. But again, if it's me and I'm managing this team, I'm no longer doing the splits. I'm letting, Luke Raley play, even if it's against a lefty pitcher, because it's not only about that at-bat, it's about the next at-bat at the end of the game. And same thing with Dominic Canzone until Victor Robles comes back. And then, on top of that, I'm making Matt Brash the new closer. Obviously Mooney got interviewed and said that his grip isn't right with his slider and a few other pitches. Well, if you're not going to be good, and we throw you in there, I mean, how many more, saves are you going to blow when we had a 6-2 lead? So, and obviously Jose Ferrer ended up screwing up as well. But I mean, we only have Bizzardo and Brash that we can trust in the pen. There's no one else that is really trustworthy. Ferrer, Spire, Mooney, Cooper Criswell, Cole Wilcox, Casey Legomina, Carlos Vargas is injured. We don't really have a lot of guys that we can trust, and then we sometimes have a hard time hitting. And then on top of that, the managing isn't that good either. So 0-2 pitch. And that ends up being a ball there to Jock Peterson. But I mean, think about all the things that have gone wrong. Runners getting, sleepy at first and getting thrown out after getting a base knock or getting walked. Third base coach, telling Josh Naylor to come home when he had no chance of making it. And a little dribbler there by Jock Peterson goes to Randy Arozarena. And a nice single there for Jock Peterson. But again, even with all the things that have gone wrong, the AL West stinks overall. And, it's not like one team is, with like a 14-2 record where we're not going to catch them. So got to keep it in perspective. Nice single there by Jock. Next up in the 6 hole is Josh Young. First pitch to Young, fouls that one off. Out of play, four-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour by George Kirby, who's looked good today. Top of the 4th inning, no balls and 1 strike with a runner at first. Jock Peterson with 1 out. Top of the 4th inning, runner at first with 1 out. 0-1 pitch, low and at the knees. Sinker, 97 miles an hour there by George Kirby. 1 ball and 1 strike with a runner at first and 1 out. Top of the 4th, 1-0 Mariners. 1-1 pitch, dribbler. It actually gets deflected off George Kirby's ass. And Rivas is not able to pick it up and throw it to first in time. Hopefully George is okay. Might have a little bit of a bruise there on the backside. But nothing that George could have done there. And Josh Young, insult to injury, getting a base knock off of George Kirby's backside. Runners now at first and second with 1 out. And let's see if we can get a double play here. Next up in the 7-hole, center fielder Evan Carter. I mean, I'll take a strikeout and a pop-up, a strikeout and a ground out, but a little slow dribbler up the middle after him getting hit on the butt on that last one off the deflection. And it would be nice to be able to get out of this inning unscathed. And obviously we're going to have the trainer come out there and have a quick talk and make sure that it's just a little strawberry that's probably starting to form, and hopefully he'll be okay. Trident's up. Let's go M's. Top of the 4th inning. 1-0 Seattle. After putting up a donut yesterday, this is a must-win game for us, as well as tomorrow with Brian Wu. Then we got a 3-game set against the Athletics, which is not going to be easy. It'll be just like that Angel series. It's going to be something that casual Mariner fans may think is going to be easy, but the Athletics always give us a fight. And then we go on the road to the Cardinals, and the road woes have been terrible. We can't win on the road, but at least the Cardinals pitching wise are bottom 10 in ERA, so we might be able to hopefully squeak out a few there on the road. First pitch is high and away. Slider 84 miles an hour there by Kirby. 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch. In there for a strike to Evan Carter, low and away. Change up 87 miles an hour by George Kirby. 1 ball and 1 strike to Evan Carter. 1-1 pitch, low and away, right on the line, but doesn't get the call. Change up 88 miles an hour by George Kirby. And again, umps have been good this year. ABS has been great. No longer can umps hold grudges. And again, we normally would complain about the umps all the time last year, regardless if it's a Mariner game or another game that we're watching. But, there are going to be still some questionable, bullshit things that happen. But it definitely keeps those guys grounded, and they can no longer hold grudges and, just be shitty umps. So that's definitely good for baseball. Big swing and a miss there by Carter, low and at the knees. Let's see if George can get the punch out or the double play here. 2-2 pitch to Evan Carter. Popped up. And fading into left field and foul. 2 balls and 2 strikes with runners at first and second and 1 out. Top of the 4th inning, 1-0 Seattle. Yeah, I didn't really have an issue with A-Rod taking the money and going to the Rangers. It's just his attitude and who he was. And then obviously, doing steroids and PEDs and, doing what he did with the Yankees, and then him as a commentator on ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, and just kind of all the douchebaggery things that he's done after baseball. He's not very likable, and again, I don't claim him. He's the only great player we've had that I don't claim as a Mariner. We got Griffey, we got, Ichiro, we got Randy Johnson, we got Edgar Martinez, and normally, A-Rod and his talent would be in that same, category and mix. But, I think, for the most part, there's only a small fraction of people that really love A-Rod, And he was, good enough of a player where he didn't need to cheat, like Barry Bonds and McGuire and a lot of others. 3-2 pitch, hard hit ball, and that goes foul. A lot of those, amazing players that cheated, Rafael Palmeiro, Roger Clemens, Barry Bonds, Mark McGuire, Sammy Sosa, they didn't need to. They could have still ended up making the Hall of Fame and, just being clean, but again, the greed on trying to be the best ever, and getting caught, it ruined their legacy. And thankfully we have guys that don't cheat. Ichiro, Edgar Martinez, Ken Griffey Jr., Randy Johnson, just to name a few. So even though we haven't been to a World Series yet, and, we will at one point, but at least we have guys that are good on and off the field. ABS challenge. And we lose the challenge there, and Carter is walked. And Carter now makes his way to first base. Next up in the 8-hole, second baseman Ezekiel Duran on deck, and the 9-hole catcher Kyle Higashioka. First pitch is high and away to Duran, 1-0 count. 1 for 1 with a single in the second. Season with runners in scoring position, batting .417, so he's been pretty good in those opportunities. .1-0 pitch, big swing and a miss. 1 ball and 1 strike to Ezekiel Duran. To act like Edgar would cheat is ridiculous. .1-1 pitch. Check swing. Did he go? And he did not. 1 ball and 2 strikes between Kirby and Duran. And again, some guys, want to do it the right way. Legacy means something to certain players. And you can definitely tell someone's character, if they end up cutting corners. And luckily, we don't have a lot of guys that have, cut corners. I would be embarrassed to be a fan of a team that had guys that cheated and cut corners, like the Astros. 1-2 pitch, high and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Kirby to Duran. Top of the 4th inning, bases loaded with 1 out. We got to get out of this jam. Come on, George. 2-2 pitch to Duran. High and away. Sinker, 97 miles an hour missing. And we're getting a pitcher's challenge here. It's right on the corner. And now we're out of challenges. Holy hell. I mean, obviously with bases loaded, you know, you're trying to be able to get that call, but, and we know George doesn't really walk a lot of guys, but hopefully this is kind of the, you know, breaking moment of the game here, depending on what happens. 3-2 pitch to Duran. Pops it up. Julio running in from shallow center field, and he's got it, and he's got a laser, so the Rangers are not dumb enough to run from third to home. Jock Peterson ends up making his way back to third, and thankfully that ended up going to Julio, and that is 2 away. Good defense there by Julio Rodriguez in the no-fly zone. Ezekiel Duran flies out to shallow center. Next up in the 9-hole, catcher Kyle Higashioka, who ended up hitting a home run off George Kirby in the series in Texas earlier when we got swept by the Rangers. And again, you know, we just got to try to do our best to be able to try to get the dub here today and the dub with Brian Wu tomorrow. And I got a very good, timely mound visit with the squad here. 18, 23, 10, and 23. He's at 74 total pitches, matching the total that he had in the second inning. And again, you got to be very careful on how you throw to Higashioka. You know, he's one of those guys that's kind of overlooked, you know, based on all the different teams he's played on in his career. And again, you know, bases loaded, 333 average, 1 grand slam. And again, he knows how to hit against Kirby. So got to be very careful here. Top of the 4th inning, bases loaded with 2 outs. Mariners up 1-0. First pitch to Kyle Higashioka. First pitch is high and away. 96-mile-an-hour four-seam fastball, 1-0 count. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. 1-0 pitch. Doesn't get the call there on pitch number 2, low and away. That was right on the line. 2 balls and no strikes to Kyle Higashioka. Slider 85 miles an hour, missing just maybe by a half inch, if that. 2-0 pitch from Kirby. Pops it up. Yes! And as long as we can get this here, and Julio is there, and one of the most trustworthy guys in center field, just like Ken Griffey Jr. Getting out of the jam is what George Kirby does, and it's going to give us a chance to be able to compete and win this game. Nice job, Mariner defense. Nice job there by Julio Rodriguez. Now let's go to the bottom of the 4th inning and see if we can add on to our 1-0 lead. Next up, 0 for 1 with a K, first baseman, it's Nails, Josh Naylor. Give me the leg kick, and it produces. Batting second, 0 for 1, left fielder in the 5-hole, Randy Arosarena. And batting third in the 6-hole, right fielder, 0 for 1, Luke Raley. And on the mound for the Rangers, with a 2-2 record coming in with an ERA of 5.40, Nathan Eovaldi. So we're about halfway through the game, so let's look at the stat line so far. 3 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 earned run, no walks, 2 Ks, 53 pitches, 38 strikes with a 5.11 ERA. And then George just completed that last half inning. 4 innings pitched, 4 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, which is a lot for him. 3 Ks, 77 pitches with 49 strikes with an ERA of 2.84. 1-0 Mariners. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. And we're at 23,807 subs, 93 to go to get to 23,900. 193 to get to 24,000. Let's go. We've gained almost 400 subs since the beginning of the season. We're definitely making up some good ground. All right, we're at 67 likes, 33 to get to 100. Let's go. Let's go to the bottom of the fourth inning, 1-0 Mariners. And if you're just tuning in the bottom of the first inning, Julio Rodriguez singled to right. J.P. Crawford opened the game with a double. Obviously, Cal Raleigh had that slow dribbler and was out at first. But then J.P. was able to scamper to third and then scoring from third base with that RBI single into the right field, outfield. Julio Rodriguez giving that 1-0 lead. But again, 1-0 it probably is not going to be enough to get the job done. Naylor might have something in his contact there. Yeah, he needs some drops. Give him the drops, baby. Let's go, Nails. Yeah, we definitely need him to see clearly, and we definitely need that leg kick. Hopefully we get Brendan Donovan back tomorrow, which would be ideal. But if he misses today's game and tomorrow's game, we'll definitely have him for the athletic series, and we're definitely going to need him. 0 runs, 4 hits, no errors for the Rangers so far. 1 run, 3 hits, no errors for Seattle. And we just have to be thankful that Julio's been heating up in the last 10 games or so, batting over 300, even though he started pretty slow at the beginning of the year. Well, I mean, considering, a few days back, we were the worst hitting team in baseball. Pitching, we're top 3 in ERA. So it's not the pitching, it's the hitting. But then on top of that, it's managing, and having a closer that can't close games. And Naylor with a slow dribbler, throw to first. And that is 1 away. Communication on defense, getting lazy on the bags, not being able to bunt and play small ball. I mean, there's like 10 things that have gone wrong for the Mariners this year, but again, when you end up being one of the worst hitting team in baseball prior to that Astro series, which we've gotten better since then, and we ended up sweeping them, but then we just got swept by the Padres on the road. So, there's a number of reasons why things have gone bad, but again, we have the talent, to be able to compete in this division. First pitch to Randy, a little blooper into shallow right field, and it drops. There we go. And a nice single there by Randy Arozarena. Another guy that is terrible on ground balls in left field, but can hit most of the time. I mean, again, there's just so many different things that have gone wrong for us, and it's probably the most that we've ever seen go wrong at the same time for the Seattle Mariners in a number of years. And also, expectations are extremely high. We were one of the bottom last 3 teams left, in the Blue Jays, Dodgers, and us, and obviously we couldn't get the job done in the ALCS, and expectations are high, and sometimes that pressure carries over. And also having the WBC didn't really help us out either, because half the team played in that fucking tournament, and a lot of guys that played in that tournament are sucking ass right now. They're not doing good, hitters and pitchers, not just on the Mariners but league wide. 0-1 pitch, Luke Raley with a little slow dribbler, double play, wild throw, let's go, there we go. And finally a big mistake for the Rangers, and Randy scampers to third. Trident's up, let's go M's. Let's go. Again, but I call pretty much every game. I've been watching, games from beginning to end, for many, many, many years. I've been a fan of this team since the mid 80s, and again, it's not just one simple thing, that has gone wrong. It's like 10 fucking things, but again, at least the hitting is getting better, and again, we still got a long ways to go before the season is over, and we'll definitely be buyers at the deadline. There's no doubt about that. Next up is the Italian stallion, Dominic Canzone. I mean, and maybe the Rangers and the Mariners will be the 2 teams in the AL West that actually make the playoffs. Will we win the division or get the wild card? I don't know. But again, you never can really count out anybody just yet. Everyone is kind of not doing that great in the AL West. People assume the Angels and the Athletics aren't good enough, as well as the Astros. They've been struggling early in the year. Obviously, we know their pitching has been terrible. But again, anytime you count out the Astros, sometimes they find a way to kind of creep back up into the standings. So it'll be a very interesting year in the AL West as well as the American League. First pitch to Dominic Canzone, takes a strike looking low and away from Nathan Eovaldi, 0-1 count. And a little dribbler up the middle. That's going to score 1, maybe 2. Go, baby. Randy scores. 2-0 Mariners. Yes, 3-0 Mariners. My boy. Let's go. Randy and Luke scoring. Bad throw by the Rangers, and we're taking advantage. 3-0 Mariners. We're not losing today, baby. And if there was a team that needed something big to happen, not only a wild throw and the double play doesn't happen, but when it rains, it pours. And if anyone knows that, it's us Mariner fans. When things go bad, one mistake turns into another mistake. 3-0 Seattle. Next up is Cole Young. Let's go. Cole's starting to heat up as of late as well. Let's go, Cole. First 4 games, we only scored 3 runs. Guess what? Today, we got a 3 spot. Let's go. I felt very confident about this game today with Kirby. As long as he pitched well, we should have a chance. 1-0 pitch, low and at the knees. Eovaldi having here a little bit of a mini meltdown, as well as the defense for Texas, which is not something that they do. You know, usually their defense is very on point and very disciplined. So a little lucky here for us at T-Mobile with 2 mistakes in the same inning, and we end up capitalizing and getting to 3. 2-0 pitch. High and away, little mini meltdown here by Eovaldi, and we know what that's about with a lot of our pitchers as well. 3 balls and no strikes to Cole Young. Let's go, Cole. 3-0 pitch, 4-seam fastball, 92 miles an hour on the corner, high and away. 3 balls and 1 strike with a runner at first and 1 out. Bottom of the 4th inning, 3-0 Seattle. 3-1 pitch, low and away, and we like that. Cole Young with the discipline at bat in the box. Yes, sir. And Cole Young making his way to first with a 5-pitch walk. And now we're going to have a mound visit and see if Eovaldi will be done or not. Next up in the 9-hole, third baseman filling in for Brandon Donovan, Leo Rivas, who is more of a AAA player. You know, if we're really being honest, you know, there's a few guys on the team that definitely could be upgraded. Leo Rivas, Connor Joe, especially Rob Refsnyder. He's fucking terrible, you know. But again, Leo is a guy that's a little bit more easy to root for, you know, than Connor Joe, a new guy coming in, as well as Refsnyder. I have no attachment to those 2 guys. I like Leo more than those 2. And then obviously a guy like Mitch Garver, you know, has a hard time hitting when he only plays every, 3 to 5 games. But, you know, I can root for Mitch. But, you know, for newbies coming in, you can usually tell, are they going to be a fit on the team or not? And it's very clear Rob Refsnyder and Connor Joe can hit the bricks. Bottom of the 4th inning, runners at first and second with 1 out. 3-0 Seattle. Call up Cade Anderson. Call up Colt Emerson. We need a little shot in the arm, and I know we're going to get those guys at some point. Colt will be the first guy that gets the call up, but hopefully they don't wait till June like they did with Cole Young last year. 0 for 1 with a line out in the second. And let's see if Leo Rivas can do something here. First pitch in there for a strike from Nathan Eovaldi. I wouldn't mind seeing a bunt drop down. Bottom of the 4th inning, runners at first and second with 1 out. 3-0 Seattle. Texas was fantastic on their bunts yesterday, going 2 for 2. 0-1 pitch, a little slow dribbler. Will this be a double play? Throw back to first. Not in time. And great to have at least someone that fucking hustles to first base. Fielder's choice there at second base. And now we have runners on the corners. Dominic Canzone at third and Leo Rivas at first. 2 away. And now we're back at the top of the order, which normally would be Brandon Donovan, but he's got a left hip issue. And now we have JP Crawford, who ended up starting the game off with a double in the first and a run. Let's see if JP can give us that electricity here that we need. Come on, JP. First pitch from Eovaldi to JP. Check swing. Did he go? Yes, he did. 0-1 count. I mean, best case scenario, JP gets a home run. We go up 6-0. But, I mean, I think getting an RBI single or double to make it 4-0 would be fantastic. We got to take advantage as much as we can in every single inning, based on how this season has gone for us, which is not good. 0-1 pitch. Good patience there by JP. Splitter, 87 miles an hour there by Eovaldi, missing low and at the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike with runners on the corners at first and third with 2 outs. Bottom of the 4th inning, 3-0 Seattle. Trident's up. Let's go M's. 1-1 pitch. Hard hit ball, but not past the infield. Good defense there as he steps off the bag and gets to it just in time. And that is out number 3. Great inning there for Seattle. And that really was more on Texas with their error and their bad throw at home, but we'll take it. Let's see who's up next here for the Texas Rangers as we go to the top of the 5th inning. End of the 4th, 3-0 Mariners. Canzone singles the center, Arosarena and Luke Raley scoring off that bad throw by Texas. And now we got a nice cushion, but it's definitely far from being over. Again, we had a 6-2 lead on the Padres and ended up giving up 5 runs in the 9th. For us Mariner fans, it's not over until the game is fucking over. We know that. Trident's up. Let's go M's. All right, let's see who's up next here in the top of the 5th. Rick Riz, he fucking loves it. Next up, 0 for 2, right fielder with a home run yesterday, but 0 for 2 today, Brandon Nimmo. Batting second, 0 for 2 with a K, shortstop in the 2-hole, a very disciplined hitter, Corey Seager. And batting third, 1 for 2, left fielder, a good all-around player in the outfield and in the box, Wyatt Langford. And on the mound for the Mariners, one of our aces, it's Furious George Kirby. Trident's up. Let's go M's. Something finally to cheer for. 23,807 subs, 93 to 23,900. Let's go. All right, we're at 77 likes. We're almost at 100. And we're still looking for our first dono on our dono train. And if you just need a quick recap into the game, JP Crawford started the game off with a double. Ended up getting to third base off a little slow dribbler off Cal Raleigh. And that gave us kind of that juice early on. Julio Rodriguez with an RBI single, making it 1-0 Mariners in the first. And then Dominic Canzone coming up big with a single to center, Randy Arosarena, as well as Luke Raley scoring off a wild throw. And again, they could have had a double play and the inning would have been over. And it would have been 1-0 Mariners, but we'll take it. Little slow dribbler here by Nimmo. Throw to first. Great job by Cole Young, who's been absolutely fantastic as a defensive player and, pretty good offensive player as well. At one point, he was one of the top 2 hitters, then kind of hit a little bit of a wall, but has started to heat up within the last couple games. Nice job there by Cole Young, and that is 1 away. Nimmo grounding out to second. Next up is Corey Seager. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. George Kirby on the mound, Corey Seager in the box. First pitch is a ball from Kirby, 1-0 count. Low and away, changeup, 86 miles an hour. 1-0 pitch, pops it up. Should be a play here that the Mariners can make. And Rivas calls off Cal Raleigh at the last minute. Good athleticism by Leo for being a little guy. And that is 2 away. Anytime you can get Corey Seager out on a pop-up, it's a magical day. Next up, in the 3-hole, left fielder Wyatt Langford. On deck, in the 4-hole, first baseman Jake Berger. Nice job by George Kirby. He's gotten himself into a couple jams, but he's been able to kind of work his way out of it, as well as the defense has been good behind him today as well. This is exactly what we needed today. First pitch from Kirby to Langford. Takes a strike looking high and inside. Sinker 94 miles an hour. Probably should have been called a ball. But again, we're out of challenges on our end. But obviously no challenge there by Langford in the box. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch. High and away. Four-seam fastball. 94 miles an hour by Kirby. 1 ball and 1 strike to Wyatt Langford. I mean, we call it right down the middle, you know. It's not going to be a biased stream like you get on 99% of the streams on YouTube. So little dribbler towards third base. And that is fair, and it's going to Randy, and we know what happens when it goes to Randy. A single turns into a double turns into a triple, and a triple will probably be an inside-the-park home run. So if you can end up getting ground balls to Randy in left field, it's always going to be a big play. And nice hit there by Wyatt Langford. Leo Rivas playing way off the bag, and a nice double there from Langford. Having a good day today, 2 for 3. Next up, first baseman in the 4-hole, Jake Berger. On deck is Jock Peterson. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. And Berger pops up, and then an easy out here. Great job, Seattle. Great job, you know, and as soon as, you know, they have a little bit of momentum, you know, to be able just to close the door immediately with a pop-up, a ground out, or a strikeout is so essential to a team that's been struggling like our Seattle Mariners. Great job, George Kirby. Great job, defense. Let's go to the bottom of the 5th inning, and let's see if we can add on 1 more run or more in this inning. Let's see who's up next for our Mariners. Next up for the Mariners, 0 for 2. Catcher, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Come on, Cal. It doesn't have to be a home run swing every game. You know, you can be a single swing. And if you actually start modifying your swing to more single swings, maybe that home run swing will naturally just come to you. Let the game come to you. Batting second, 1 for 2 with an RBI. Center fielder, Julio Rodriguez. In the last 8, 9, 10 games, he's batting above 300, and he's been able to come up big more times than not. Let's go, J-Rod. You're the man. And batting third, 0 for 2 with a K, first baseman, it's Nails, Josh Naylor. Just give me the damn leg kick on every play and we can make plays happen. Naylor's 0 for 2 with a K, but if he does the leg kick and does it right, could be a home run or a single. Let's go, Naylor. Isaac with a 20. Appreciate you very, very much. My dog is, and thank you for asking. I actually mentioned it earlier in the broadcast. And, you know, my dog, you know, coincidentally, you know, ended up being a little bit of a sensitive stomach 2 days ago. And then, you know, ended up having normal bathroom duties the following day. And then obviously yesterday, you know, obviously had some issues going to the bathroom and then ended up throwing up. And that's kind of when, you know, it's one thing for a dog to, you know, maybe not have their normal routine when they're going number 2. You can kind of tell, okay, is this normal or does it look a little off, you know? And again, I'm always making sure that she's not eating grass or eating garbage and, you know, trying to make sure she's not eating food on the ground when we go for these 5-mile walks every day. But then, you know, on our second walk, she ended up throwing up all her food that she ate that morning. So it was like a huge pile and it made my heart hurt a little bit. I don't like seeing my dog suffer, you know, especially when I'm really trying to be the best dog father that I can. I mean, I don't even really hang out with a lot of my friends because I want to be the best dog father to her. And she's doing much better today. Thank you so much for your generosity on the dono train, as well as for asking. First pitch from Eovaldi to the big dumper. Big swing and a miss. 0-1 count. Sinker 94 miles an hour off the plate there from Eovaldi. Bottom of the 5th inning, 3-0 Seattle. 0-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss. He's going for the moon on every single swing. Pump the brakes, Cal. You're not going to hit 60 home runs. You're not going to hit 50 home runs. Hell, you might not even hit 40 home runs. And if you hit 30, that's fine. Just, you know, believe in yourself. Take the pressure off of yourself, which is easier said than done. Next up, Captain with a $10 holla. Thank you so much. Donos are contagious. Appreciate you. 0-2 pitch, and he pops that one up and out of play. And obviously Cal and Naylor are the two guys that are struggling the most on the team. Cal, based on playing the WBC, not getting enough reps with the team and the pressure of, you know, hitting 60 home runs. should have been co-MVP with Judge or won that award. And then when people see how hard it is to hit 60 home runs, let alone as a catcher, people will go back, 10, 20 years from now and probably say, damn, he should have gotten it. And that ends up being a pop-up to center. Evan Carter is there, and that is one away. And again, Judge and Ohtani can win the award every single year. They can win the AL, MVP, National League MVP. Those guys are the two best players in baseball. There's no, arguing that. But when a player actually challenges Judge or Ohtani and does something, that no player has done at that position, shame on the fans for not voting, for the people that had the vote. 60 home runs from a catcher? I mean, are we really being serious? And especially if he only has like 30 this year, that's going to really prove the point, on how hard it was to be able to get to those kind of numbers. First pitch to Julio Rodriguez is a splitter, 87 miles an hour, high and inside, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, a little slow dribbler towards first base and foul. Cal may never hit 60 home runs ever again in his career, but if there was another catcher, to hit 50 or more, it's going to be Cal. It's going to be him. I mean, there's not a lot of guys, Salvador Perez, obviously had the record prior to that. And, when you end up, getting guys that normally hit 30 to maybe 40 home runs as a catcher, that's still a shitload. You got to be squatting on your knees. You got to be able to motivate the pitchers in the bullpen. You got to throw guys out at, first and second and third base. A lot of strain on the knees. And, they don't call him the big dumper for nothing. But, I think that the pressure obviously is really getting to him. And, hopefully he'll be able to, just settle down and settle in. Little dribbler right back to the pitcher. Eovaldi flip to first. An easy out for Julio Rodriguez and the Rangers there. And that is 2 away. I mean, it's okay if Cal only hits 30, or, if he gets to 40 and above, great. I mean, again, as long as we make the playoffs and we play well, I don't give a shit what he has. He could have fucking 28 home runs as long as we're in the playoffs and he's playing well, that's really all that matters. Obviously, it would be great, for him to hit, 35, 45, 55 home runs. But, based on what we've seen at this point early in the year, I mean, does it look like he's a guy that's going to hit 50 home runs or even 40? And again, you can get hot. There's a lot of games, 162, but he hasn't really shown that he's been in the rhythm. The WBC was a curse. He didn't get enough time in spring training. And Naylor with a hit. Yes! Off the deflection. Josh Naylor, beautiful. And again, we'll see what happens, Captain. And but again, it is possible that he gets over 40, but don't be shocked if he gets under 40. Nice job there by Josh Naylor on that 1-0 count. Leg kick, leg kick, leg kick. Nice job, Nails. And Berger trying to do his best, but, again, sometimes you just got to be able to find a little bit of luck. Next up, left fielder Randy Arozarena. Anytime you can end up getting deflections off a player, hell, the Rangers had one off George Kirby's butt cheek, right? That turned into an easy single. And we got to get a little bit of payback on our end, right? We got to get a little deflection on one of their guys. First pitch is fouled off by Randy Arozarena. Nice curveball there, 73 miles an hour by Eovaldi. 0-1 count. Trident's up. I'm not sure if Cal is the best player. I mean, he definitely has the most responsibility out of any player on the team. Obviously, we'll see what his numbers are at the end of this year. He's definitely one of the most likable and a guy that's easy to root for, But again, we'll have to see, what the numbers look offensively, at the end of the year. And it's all about consistency year in and year out, But we got some great players. Cal is great. Julio is great most of the time, even though he starts slow in the first half of the season. Wu has been, pretty fantastic going back to last year. Kirby's been good. And then obviously we've seen the emergence of Emerson Hancock early this year. And obviously we've seen Logan Gilbert and Luis Castillo kind of go in the other direction. Same thing with Andres Munoz and Dan Wilson with his manager. And we've seen Luke Raley kind of go up, Cole Young go up. So, some guys are going up, some guys are going down, and eventually we'll get everyone, for the most part, on the same page. But I don't think Cal's really won us too many games so far this year. Obviously we always respect his catching and what he does for the pitchers and the bullpen. But as far as offensively, how many games has Cal won for us offensively so far? Has he won any? I don't think he's won any really for us yet. So again, the slow start, obviously with the WBC was not good, but I still love Cal Raleigh, and hopefully he'll be able to, get hot at the right time. 2-2 pitch. Pitch is inside, almost hits Randy in the thigh. And now count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Randy Orosarena. Three-two pitch, big swing and a miss. And I don't think Andrea Naylor and Julio are lazy. We only have one lazy player on the team, and that's Randy in left field on ground balls. No one else is lazy on the team, in my opinion. That's the end of the 5th inning, 3-0 Seattle. But again, some people are watching more games than others. And obviously with me, this is my full-time job. And even if it wasn't my full-time job, I'm watching every game, every pitch, beginning to end. And, obviously evaluations are going to vary depending on how much you're watching and, based on what you're looking for. End of the 5th inning, 3-0 Seattle. Let's see who's up next for the Rangers here in the top of the 6th. Next up, 1-for-1 with a base on ball, DHing Jock Peterson. Batting second, 1-for-2, third baseman in the 6th hole, Josh Young. And batting third, 0-for-1 with a base on ball, center fielder, Evan Carter. And on the mound for the Mariners, still wheeling and dealing, it's our ace, George Kirby. 5 innings pitched, 5 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, 3 Ks, 84 pitches, 54 strikes, 2.76 ERA. Trident's up, let's go M's. Feels good to actually have a lead, but it's not over till it's over. Hopefully your dog gets a little bit better. Obviously, I've had that as well with my dog. Getting a little bit sick 2 times this week, which is very rare, and, I give her good food. I only give her like blueberries and strawberries. I'm very, very particular, on her diet and whatnot. But when we're walking 5 miles a day, 7 days a week, especially that night walk, usually, after the stream is over, and nobody's out, people aren't really out. But again, I'm always trying to focus on her mouth. When she's sniffing bushes and looking for food or garbage and whatnot. And usually I can, put my hand in her mouth and rip something out of there before she eats it or swallows it. But, dogs are sneaky. You really got to be, with your head on a swivel, because if you're just not paying attention, even just for a few seconds, a dog can eat something that could be toxic to them. And all of a sudden, a few hours later, they're sick. And nothing is more heartbreaking than seeing your dog get sick. Let me tell you. Top of the 6th inning, 3-0 Seattle. Nothing heartbreaking about that. First pitch from Kirby to Jock Peterson, high and away. Knuckle curve, 82 miles an hour, 1-0 count. Pitch, high and away. And I think that's a big reason why the frustration is very high with Mariner fans, that we got kind of spoiled last year, and how far we went. And then the expectation that we're going to do it again or go further, and again, we have a very good roster. If you actually look at our roster player for player, in the American League West, we have the best roster. So expectations are high. And when your expectations don't get met, we get disappointed. People complain, they whine, right? They cry, they, get angry, and again, rightfully so. But we have to be able to be as positive as possible to understand it's not like we have a team that's dog shit, or we don't have a team that spends way too much money like the Mets and they're on a 10-game losing streak, where they spend money like the Dodgers and the Yankees, but they don't get the same results, and they spend a lot of money. So 2-2 pitch, big swing and a miss. Down goes Jock Peterson. Another punch out by our guy, Furious George, and that is 1 away. I mean, I love this team no matter what. Good, bad, ugly. I've been a fan of this team since the mid-'80s. And again, we had a 20-year stretch where we had no hope of making the playoffs, but that didn't stop me from watching every game beginning to end. So, I feel like, we're fanatics on a different level. There's going to be bandwagon fans, fair weather fans that only watch when we're good, and there's going to be casual fans, regular fans, and then Fanatics is like the ultimate, where, we're all about the team. And obviously, do we get disappointed as Fanatics? Yeah, but that's a part of being a fan of a team in Oregon and Washington. Sometimes it takes 4 or 5 years to build a team good enough to get to a championship, and sometimes we won't win it, but again, you just have to be resilient, be mentally strong to be a fan of a team in Oregon and Washington. Hard hit ball, and it is gone. Wow. Josh Young going over the head of Julio Rodriguez. But with that being said, at least it was only a solo dinger like Kyle Higashioka, obviously earlier in Texas. Nice job there by Josh Young. And again, I'm just thankful it wasn't a 2-run blast or a 3-run jack, only a solo dinger. I can live with that. Next up in the 7-hole, center fielder Evan Carter, but no more home runs and no more runs for George Kirby, hopefully, the rest of this game. George has pitched very well today. 6 hits apiece, and they have an error, and again, 3 runs is kind of the max for your starting pitcher. Usually you want to do 0 to 2. First pitch from Kirby to Evan Carter, takes a strike looking with a sinker, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, little dribbler towards first base and foul. And let's not kid ourselves. The Rangers are a good team. Realistically, it'll probably be us together in the playoffs. Who will win the division? Who knows? And obviously the Angels and Joe Adell have been doing their thing. Astros have been bad with obviously their pitching, but their hitting is still pretty good, even though they're at the bottom of the standings. Big swing and a miss, and another punch out there by Kirby. Down goes Evan Carter. And obviously the Athletics are kind of that team that they have a lot of young players, but you just don't know if they're going to really put it together. And obviously trading Mason Miller to the Padres wasn't really ideal for them. Down goes Evan Carter, striking out, swinging. Another punch out from our boy, George Kirby, bringing that electricity after giving up a home run. Nice job. Next up now is Ezekiel Duran. And Duran on the first pitch gets another base knock into right field off a sinker high and away. Duran playing for the first time in the series, and he's making the most of his opportunity. Next up in the 9-hole, catcher Kyle Higashioka. And hopefully we get Kyle to pop up, ground out or strike out, and then we can get out of this inning with just this 1 home run given up. But we got Dan Wilson making his way to the mound, and he's at 96 pitches. So this might be it for Kirby here. All right, Kirby is done. And even though he gave that home run up late, who cares? He played fantastic today. A lot better than Logan Gilbert this year, a lot better than Luis Castillo, very similar to Brian Wu and Emerson Hancock. And a lot of times we don't get enough run support, for Wu, Hancock, or Kirby. But Kirby got 3 runs behind him today. And again, we should be able to add on a couple more before this one is over. And now the real question is, what is Dan Wilson going to do here? Who is he bringing in? 5.2 innings pitched, 7 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 5 Ks, 96 pitches, 63 strikes with a 2.97 ERA. George, I love you. What will Dan Wilson do? Top of the 6th inning, runner at first with 2 outs, Mariners 3-1, Kyle Higashioka. And we're going to bring in Brash. My God, he's actually making a good choice, even though I would like Brash as the closer. But let's see what happens here. Might be a little premature to bring in Brash so early, but, again, that's Dan Wilson for you. It's not going to kill you to play Brash for more than 1 inning. It's not going to kill you if Bizzardo plays more than 1 inning. But those are the only 2 guys that have earned the right to play more than 1 inning in a game. And we're going to bring in our boy, Matt Brash. And I guess if Mooney gets another chance to get a victory if we're ahead at that time, hopefully he doesn't shit the bed like he did against the Padres when we were up 6-2 and we lost 7-6. Facts. Go, Matt. First pitch from Brash. Guess what? Right down the middle for a strike. Beautiful 0-1 count. Oh, 1 pitch, low and at the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike from Brash to Higashioka. But until Andres Munoz is right, with his grip, I would rather have Brash be our closer moving forward until Mooney is right again. But, again, we'll see how he looks if we get a chance to see him here today. Because let's be real, out of all the opportunities that Mooney has had, he's might have looked good one time out of like 5 or 6 this year. And that's not good, to look bad 5 or 6 times and look good once, Especially when he, normally is a top 5, top 10 closer, right? You don't expect your guy to be top 5, top 10 closer to be bottom 10. That's a pretty big disparity in, 1 year. 2-2 pitch from Brash. Low and away. Slider 89 miles an hour missing to Kyle Higashioka. Count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes with a runner at first and 2 outs. Get this final out here. Otherwise, you could have just kept Kirby in for a couple more pitches. I think George would have gotten him out, honestly. But, 96 pitches, I get it. They don't want guys really going over 100, so. 3-2 pitch. Little dribbler. Here we go. Throw to first. Nice throw by JP. And a smart decision not throwing to second base. Sometimes it's like that split decision. Can I get the guy on the fielder's choice at second? And if he's already almost there, don't even think about it. Just relax, take your time, throw to first. That's the easy out. And nice job by JP Crawford. I'm happy that we got a very capable shortstop. And again, we're going to have Colt Emerson in that spot sooner than later. Nice job there by the Mariners, other than the home run that we gave up. And again, the Rangers are a good team. At some point, they're going to get on the board. Josh Young with a 412 feet bomb over Julio's head. But again, we have to be thankful it was only a solo dinger rather than a 2-run jack or a 3-run bomb. So let's see if we can make up that home run that we just gave up. Let's see who's up next year for the Mariners. Try dance up. Next up for the Mariners, 0 for 2 with a run, right fielder Luke Raley, who's definitely due for another nuke. Batting second, 1 for 2 with 2 RBIs and a K. Another guy that's due for a home run, the Italian stallion, Dominic Canzone. And batting third, really finding himself lately within the last couple games. 1 for 1 with a walk, second baseman Cole Young. Fantastic defender and a really good player for the Mariners. Trident's up. Let's go M's. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. Gained another 2 subs since the last commercial break. Thank you so much. 91 subs to go to 23,900. 191 to 24,000. Let's go. And this being a global broadcast on Fox for more people to see what we're about and we're actually like showing up, it's a good feeling. All right, we're at 88 likes. We're almost there. 12 more to get to 100. And we're at 30 on the Dono train, 70 to go. And we've been able to hit 200 on a few and high 100s on most, so. Trident's up. Let's go M's. But again, very good possibility that both of these teams will be in the playoffs this year unless there's, a lot of things that prevent that from happening. And again, you never really can count out the Astros, the Angels, and the Athletics, even though, most people usually write off the Angels and the Athletics. And obviously the Astros are normally not written out, but, with the injuries they've had and the poor pitching they've had, but you never really can count them out. They're usually a good hitting team. They're really crafty. Everyone knows them from the cheating scandal, but, the Astros are always one of those teams that usually just never goes away. They usually find a way to creep up in the standings. They may not win it, but they may end up being a little bit better as the year goes on, especially if the pitchers get healthy and then they can get a little bit more continuity and chemistry on that squad. Pitch fouled off there by Luke Raley. It's kind of like a thorn in your side. Jose Altuve, Yordan Alvarez, Jeremy Pena, and a few others. It's like they just never go away, 1-2 pitch from Eovaldi that goes into the dirt. Splitter 87 miles an hour. Nice save there by Higashioka with the defense. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Luke Raley. Xavier in the building. What's good, brother? Trident's up. Let's go M's. 2-2 pitch. And Raley crushes it. Deep right field. Back. Gone! And I said that Luke Raley was due for the nuke. ESP, look at that. We make up the run that we gave up, and there it is. Bringing the electricity with a little bit of a prediction coming true as well. Luke Raley getting the job done. 381 feet, a no-doubter. Trident's up. Let's go M's. You say we need to make up that run from the previous inning, and guess what? Sports gods were listening and said, you know what? We're going to do it for you right now. Let's go. Number 1 in batting average, number 1 in RBIs, number 1 in home runs. It is Luke Raley with another nuke, baby. Let's go. Next up, the Italian Stallion, Dominic Canzone. And I love when we can come up with predictions that come true about 10 seconds later. Let's go. First pitch fouled off with that cutter, 87 miles an hour, 0-1 count. Same thing goes with like double play predictions. We're not going to ask for a double play every inning, and again, it's just kind of, you have to kind of read the game and hope that big play will happen, whether it's predicting a double play, a home run, big strikeout. And nice job there by Luke Raley. What a fucking G. 1-1 pitch, low and away. Curveball 74 miles an hour by Eovaldi. 2 balls and 1 strike with nobody on and no outs. 4-1 Mariner lead. Let's go. Trident's up, baby. 2-1 pitch, and Dom with a base hit. Here we go. That's what I'm talking about. The Italian Stallion, and again, hits are contagious, and just like positivity, same thing goes with the negativity. Once you get negative, it's easy to snowball on that, right? But if you can be positive, one thing can lead to another. When it rains, it pours. When things are going bad, we've went through that, obviously with the 5-game losing streak and the sweep by the Padres, and obviously putting up a fucking 0 yesterday was not ideal. But again, keep your head up, keep your head held high, and understand that we have the talent to turn it around. And Mariners looking very good today. And remember, at the beginning of the broadcast, I said 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits. We get that today and tomorrow. That should give us a chance, to be able to compete in the game. And where are we at right now? 4 runs, 8 hits. We're there. 1 run away, and we're in the 6th inning, and there's a pretty good chance we're going to get to 5 before this one is over. Let's go. Nice job by Luke Raley. Nice job by Dominic Canzone. That's why you don't want these guys to get substituted out if a left-handed pitcher comes in for guys like Connor Joe or Mitch Garver or Rob Refsnyder. Give me a break. These guys need to play from beginning to end. I don't care if it's a right-handed pitcher, a left-handed pitcher, a blind pitcher. You have them play the whole goddamn game. Let's go. Next up, 1-for-1 with a base on ball. Second baseman, Cole Young. Trident's up. Let's go M's. And Raley wasn't really very good last year. His timing was off, and his defense has been much better. He makes those sliding grabs on one knee. He's been able to lead the team in batting average, hits and home runs. So, it's remarkable, to be able to have, or RBIs, home runs, and batting average and stuff. I don't know if he's the leader in hits. Well, someone will have to look that up. But yeah, I know 3 categories. He's number 1, and and no Brandon Donovan today. So that definitely is huge, because I know a lot of people, feel when Donovan is out of the lineup, we have no chance. But not so fast. We can still win without Donnie, but we love him. And again, if you watched Luke Rayleigh last year, he had some minor injuries. His timing was fucking terrible. It was always a strikeout, and then now, him like Cole Young and a few others have really found a nice rhythm early on. And again, I think the surprise was that Cal and Julio and Naylor started off the season so shitty. And now we've seen, sparks, from Naylor, as of late. Julio's been good for like the last 8, 9, 10 games. Cal, we're still waiting on him. But again, some guys are, definitely showing some, upgraded ability, and that's, definitely a great thing to see. All right, now we got Quantrill coming in for Eovaldi. Eovaldi is done. First pitch, big swing and a miss here by Cole Young, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch. Young is going for a bunt. I like it. And remember at the beginning of the broadcast, I said, hey, it would be nice if we could have a bunt or two. And we've seen 2 bunt attempts, one by Naylor and one here by Cole. Obviously not successful. Texas was very good yesterday, going 2 for 2 on the bunt. I love small ball. No balls and 2 strikes to Cole Young. I mean, it's all about consistency that makes us like our favorite players, right? The guys that do it game in and game out. So obviously with, Brendan Donovan, number 1, usually in the batting average, top guy, and then obviously we've seen, other guys step up, in the, top, in the numbers and whatnot. And it's just great to be able to see Luke Rayleigh doing his thing and Cole Young improving as well. 1-2 pitch. And pops that one foul. And we know Randy has gotten his batting average, to around that 300 range. It's just that he's a fucking liability in left field. So it's like, yeah, you can hit 30 to 40 home runs, but how many runs do you give up in left field? Over 100 in a season? Just doesn't really even out. Luke Rayleigh batting .318 now. So that's fantastic to see. Still got a lot of guys in the 200 range, which is normal. But obviously Cal Raleigh only batting 157 and Naylor 148. Those are the guys that need to improve like now. Canzone at first with a 2-2 count here from Quantrill. 2-2 pitch. High and inside. Check swing. Did he go? I don't think so. And he did not. Count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Cole Young. Come on, Cole. Big swing and a miss. A nice punch out there from Quantrill. And that is 1 away. Next up is Leo Rivas. First pitch to Leo Rivas. Low and away, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, takes a strike looking on the corner. 4-seam fastball by Quantrill hits the target. 1 ball and 1 strike to Leo Rivas. Bottom of the 6th inning, runner at first with 1 out, 4-1 Mariners. After giving up a home run to Josh Young, which was unfortunate for George Kirby, we said let's make up for it in the next inning, and Luke Rayleigh got the memo and hit a big blast. 381 feet, 4-1 Mariners. Trident's up. Check swing. Did he go? And he does go around off that splitter, 86 miles an hour. Have some more patience, Leo. I mean, he's more of a AAA player, so you can only expect so much out of Leo Rivas or a guy like Cole Wilcox from the pen. When certain guys are really more destined for, AAA ball, you can't really expect too much out of them. 1-2 pitch. And that is strike 3 looking, and Leo Rivas is retired. And that is 2 away. And now the former Rocky and now Ranger, Quantrill with 2 punch outs. but hopefully he doesn't punch out. J.P. Crawford, 1 for 3 with a double in the first. And again, being able to get a hit with the first at bat and bringing that man home, it's such a momentum boost, And again, we know Donnie has been probably the best leadoff hitter we've had since Ichiro, but JP has been good in his absence. 2 games with the groin, 2 games with the flu, and potentially 2 games with the hip if he misses tomorrow. 1-0 pitch. JP fouls that one off. Four-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour there by Quantrill. 1 ball and 1 strike with a runner at first and 2 outs. Bottom of the 6th inning, 4-1 Mariners. Come on, JP. 1-1 pitch. Takes a strike looking. Nice sinker there by Quantrill, 94 miles an hour, right down the middle. 1 ball and 2 strikes with a runner at first and 2 outs. Bottom of the 6th inning, 4-1 Mariners. And again, we have to try to win 2 games out of 3 in this set. Try to win 2 games out of 3 versus the Athletics, and then we go on the road to play the Cardinals. And we're terrible on the road this year, but the Cardinals pitching staff is bottom 10 in ERA, so we might be able to take advantage of that, I hope, if we can feed off the momentum of this series and then the Athletic series at home. We got to start finding ways to win on the road. The Astros and the Mariners have been absolutely dog shit on the road this year. And ABS challenge, and it just clips the corner, and JP is out on strike 3. As you see the wave in the background by the crowd there. End of the 6th inning, 4-1 Mariners. And obviously, Quantrill did a very good job against the Mariner batters there. Besides, obviously, the Luke Raley home run, baby. Let's see who's up next here for the Rangers in the top of the 7th. Rick Riz loves it, baby. Next up for the Rangers, 0 for 3, leadoff hitter, right fielder Brandon Nimmo. Home run yesterday, no home run yet today. Batting second, 0 for 3 with a K, shortstop Corey Seager. Pretty hard to make him go 0 for 4. Let's see if we can do it. And batting third, having a good day, 2 for 3, left fielder in the 3-hole, Wyatt Langford. We'll see if they bring out Brash again. He only had 6 pitches. You might as well, if you're not going to have him be the closer and you're not going to have him pitch in the 8th, you might as well bring him back out. But let's see what Dan Wilson decides to do. Trident's up. Let's go M's. There we go. Captain says we got over 100. I like that. We're at 30 on the Dono train. We hit 100 likes, which is fantastic. We always want to be hitting 100 or 200. And we gained another sub since the last commercial break. Thank you so much. 90 subs to go to 23,900. 190 to get to 24,000. Let's go. First pitch, and we got Gabe Spire out. Like, why only have Brash come out for, 6 pitches? I get it, we're up 4-1 and whatnot, but let's pray this is the good Gabe, not the bad Gabe. Mariner fans are just going to lose their lid if he ends up giving up big home runs or RBIs here. My best friend Justin got a hot dog from heaven. 0-2 pitch, low and away. And Gabe Spire had this tendency in the WBC, to get one out, and then he gave up a home run. Then 2 games later for Team USA, he did the same thing. He got one out, gave up a home run. Then he goes to the spring training for Mariners, gets one out, gives up a home run, and then he did it again, obviously in the regular season, and also had a couple meltdowns. So again, with Spire as well as Ferrer, sometimes they're good, but sometimes they're not. 1-2 pitch, big swing and a miss, and that's the good Gabe Spire. There we go, Gabe, you Pat McAfee lookalike. Get the job done, and that is 1 away. Down goes Brandon Nimmo, and that's 1 away. Next up is Corey Seager. First pitch, sinker inside, 95 miles an hour, 1-0 count. Gabe Spire on the mound, Corey Seager in the box. One-0 pitch, takes a strike high and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to Corey Seager. One pitch, high and inside. Sinker 95 miles an hour. 2 balls and 1 strike to Corey Seager. 2-1 pitch. Hard hit ball into left field, fading foul. But I think Gabe, even though there is going to be times where he has meltdowns, I think he will be the 3. I think you're going to have, Brash and Bizzardo at the top, and Gabe will be, reclaiming his spot. And then Ferrer and a few others will be behind him. I mean, we had high hopes that Ferrer could be better than Gabe, but based on this early sample that I've seen, I think that, even though Gabe fucks up quite often like Ferrer, I think I trust Gabe slightly more than Ferrer, at least early on in the season, but we'll see if that changes. I hear Paisley outside my door. 2-2 pitch, fouls it off himself. All right, you want to come in, lay down? Lay down. Lay down. Good girl. Good girl. Lay down. Good girl. Good girl. All right, Paisley's in the room now, which is great. She'll give us some good luck after being sick yesterday and 2 days before that. Looks like she's doing a little bit better. Pitch fouled off. Low and away there by Seager. Count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Spire to Seager. 3-2 pitch. Pops it up. Fading foul. Come on, Gabe. Alec with the tour. Appreciate you. Every dollar counts. Thank you so much. I mean, I got a vet, visit for her. Dog food that's coming up in probably a couple weeks that needs to be bought. So as anyone knows that has, cats or dogs, food is not cheap. Usually a bag of food that lasts a month is usually over $80, at least for a dog. So appreciate that. 3-2 pitch. Pitch is inside, and that is a walk to Seager. And kind of makes you scratch your head and think, why did not Brash come out? And, if you're going to use Brash early, let him pitch more than 1 inning, especially if he only had 6 pitches, but they decide not to. And hopefully it doesn't backfire against us. And also, I would rather have had Brash close the game out over Munoz, but this is Dan Wilson for you. The method did the madness. He's not really the brightest light bulb. Next up is Wyatt Langford. And just because we have a lead doesn't mean that you can play around. We already, paid the price with the 6-2 lead with Emerson Hancock, and he made bad choices, not putting in Matt Brash. And what happened? We ended up having a meltdown by Mooney and Ferrer, and we ended up losing 7-6 when we had a 6-2 lead in the 9th. So you never can be comfortable, especially with this team this year. 0-1 pitch, low and at the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike to Wyatt Langford. Now, anybody that's got a cat or a dog, and some people, it's just a pet. But for me, like I said, I don't have kids of my own. So, it's family. She's like my dog daughter. I'm the dog father. So nothing has ever meant more to me in my entire life, even this channel, than her. Those are my 2 biggest things in my life. My dog, my dog daughter, Paisley Pup, and obviously this channel. Those are the 2 most important things to me. And, that will never change. Pitch fouled off right down the middle. And obviously, if you have that connection and you have that soul dog, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you've never had a soul dog, then you'll never understand. 1-2 pitch, popped up to Luke Raley, and that is 2 away. Good defense there by the Mariners, bailing out Gabe Spire. Next up is Jake Berger. First pitch, high and away, four-seam fastball, 94 miles an hour there by Gabe Spire. 1-0 count. Come on, Gabe. One-0 pitch, big swing and a miss by Jake Whataburger. 1 ball and 1 strike. Berger is 0 for 3 with a K today, but has done some damage against the Mariners. After this out, we'll see if she lets me pick her up and whatnot. She used to let me pick her up and have her on the screen for like 5 minutes. She would just let me, kind of just hold her, and she'd be more patient. But as she's gotten a little bit older, it's usually only about now 5 to 15 seconds, and then she just wants back down, And I don't blame her. She wants to lay on the couch, lay on the bed, lay on, the blankets and whatnot. As you see her shifting herself behind me there, as you can see her. You can see her there in the corner. Hi. There she is. She's like, "You're not picking me up, Dad." I see you. And now she's laying down. Three-one pitch. And in there for a strike. And normally she doesn't do that. Normally, she'll just leave the room and whatnot. But she had to make an appearance. Top of the 7th inning with a runner at first and 2 outs. Mariners 4, Rangers 1. And another walk here for Gabe Spire. And this is the type of shit that I'm talking about. Matt Brash only had 6 pitches. And if you weren't going to use him at the end of the game in the 8th or the 9th, why in the hell did you only have him use him in 1 inning for Matt Brash with 6 pitches? What are you telling me? His arm is going to fall off after pitching 6? These are the dumbass moves that we talk about in Dan Wilson, that he doesn't know what he's doing. It's just mind-boggling. He's not a good manager, and again, he might be slightly better than Scott Service, but in high-pressure situations, he gets an F, and obviously even in normal situations, it makes you scratch your head more times than not, like, what are you doing? And now if Gabe Spire is done, you wasted Matt Brash. You could have had Brash come in and get the job done. And now the Rangers are threatening, and they better not fucking come back and win this game. Can you imagine? We're up 4-1. Everything is good, and then, now you got Dan Wilson being a fucking dummy. See, even Paisley doesn't even want to watch now. She just left. She said, "Fuck that. Dan Wilson, he's a fucking moron." Now she left. I mean, again, if you like this guy, good for you. But, and now Sam Haggerty, the former Mariner, is going to be pinch hitting for the Rangers. But these are the type of moves that casuals will miss. But us hardcore fanatics, we are not going to let shit slide. Just because, we have a lead doesn't mean that you can play around. And we know who loves to play around. Dan Wilson, you fucking dummy. All right, Sam Haggerty, the former Mariner, is going to be up. And again, it's like you bring in Matt Brash early, you only have him pitch 6 times, and then you're like, we'll go for Gabe Spire. Well, and again, this is the bad Gabe, and that's why, you can only really trust Bizzardo and Brash. That's it. You can't trust Gabe Spire. You can't trust Jose Ferrer. You can't trust Cole Wilcox. You can't trust Casey Legomina. You can't trust Cooper Criswell. You can't trust Andres Munoz for now, And again, like, if fans can manage a team better than a manager, what does that say about the team? Just saying. Tank in the building. What's good? All right, now Josh Smith is actually coming in. They made a switch. But it was going to be Sam Haggerty. And now Bizzardo is in. You know, everything is just ass backwards. You brought Brash in, who should be in the guy towards the end, and then you bring in Spire and then Bizzardo. Everything is ass backwards. And now you got Josh Smith in the game. And now, if Bizzardo ends up getting this one out, have Bizzardo come back in the 8th. Don't do the same shit that you did with Brash, have him pitch like 6 pitches and then go with someone else. You know, it's like he doesn't know what he's doing out there. 0-1 pitch. Sweeper, 83 miles an hour missing outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. You know, and again, if you're watching this game, I mean, there's these simple things that we're pointing out that are not correct. You know, it's not like we're just trying to be an asshole and be a hater towards him, but I mean, time and time again, he fucks up. I mean, we can't let that shit slide. 1-1 pitch, low and away, 2 balls and 1 strike to Josh Smith. Two-one pitch, low and away, and now we got Bizzardo with a 3-1 count. You know, game was in firm control, 4-1 if we would have went through a normal rotation. You know, but this is Dan Wilson that we have. 3-1 pitch. And that ends up being a walk. Great. Now we got bases loaded with 2 outs and no one can get a fucking strikeout. Oh, I definitely would have liked Francona over Dan, you know, but the reason they hired Dan is what? Former player, right? And not only a former player, but a former player with this team, you know? And now we got Woodworth coming out there to have a talk, to, you know, light a fire under Bizzardo's ass that Spire and, you know, ended up fucking this game up here potentially for us. And let's see if we can actually get out of this without them coming back. No lead is secure for the Mariners in 2026 until the game is over. And again, you know, poor managing is a big factor. You know, Dan Wilson is not good. Andres Munoz is not good. Logan Gilbert isn't good. Luis Castillo isn't good. You know, and it's okay to say these things. You know, we want these guys to get better, but we can't let stuff slide, especially if we end up losing games because of these decisions. I think Bruce Bochy would have been a good manager for the Mariners too. You know, I like Lou Piniella a lot, but obviously too old to manage this team now, you know. First pitch fouled off by Josh Young, 0-1 count. But this game is on the brink of being tied because of bad managing. Oh, 1 pitch. Jesus Christ. Now Bizzardo can't hit the fucking strike zone. And the one guy that might have been able to pitch a couple innings in Matt Brash, you had let him pitch 6 pitches and you got cocky and thought that was good enough. Dummy. 1-1 pitch. High and away. And I feel like with a lot of managers, they just kind of throw guys out there and hope that they figure it out. But that's not what a good manager does. You have to have the fucking awareness on what guys, you know, are on and what guys are off, you know, based off body language and just aura and vibe and just how they played lately. And that has popped up and we're going to get bailed out of this, hopefully. And Julio says, get the hell out of the way, everyone else, Luke Raley included, and Julio coming up with the big play. Can you imagine if the Mariner players would have ran into each other and they would have scored there? I would have just lost it and jumped out the window. And luckily, I only have a 1-story house here. Oh, you know, it's like, you know, us Mariner fans don't need this added stress. You know, we already are having a very tough time this year, you know, and having a shit manager making dumbass decisions is making our stress levels go much higher than needed. I'm going to go give my pup a little bit of a treat here for having to deal with Dan Wilson and his idiot behavior. I'll be right back. Let's go to the bottom of the 7th and see who's up next year for the Mariners. Next up, 0 for 3, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. We need a home run, baby. Batting second, 1 for 3 with an RBI, Julio Rodriguez. I got the jersey on today, baby. And batting third, 1 for 3 with a K, Josh Naylor. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. And this guy, I don't know about you. All right, just got back in time. First pitch, fouled off. There by the big dumper. Had to change the fresh water for my pup and give her a snack. Had to cut up a quick strawberry. You know, you got to be able to multitask if you end up getting a pup. So 0-1 pitch, high and away. 1 ball and 1 strike from Quantrill to big dumper at Cal Raleigh. Oh, there's Paisley. She's going to join the broadcast now. She says, okay, we got out of that jam. I guess I can join the broadcast. Pitch fouled off there by the big dumper. Splitter, 85 miles an hour. 1 ball and 2 strikes to the big dumper at Cal Raleigh. All day in the building. What's good? Mando in the building. What's good? Appreciate you. Don't jump out the window fun. That's a good one. Appreciate you. Pitch is high and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes to the big dumper at Cal Raleigh. You know, but again, certain things need to be addressed. You know, we just can't let stuff slide. You know, there's observations, but a lot of, you know, things aren't really mentioned. You know, and again, there's a reason. I mean, if we were 13-8 right now, yeah, then there's not really a big thing to, you know, harp on, you know, but again, when you're 8-13 and you can't win on the road, and Dan Wilson has been a big factor of us losing certain games, it has to be addressed. 3-2 pitch. Cal pops it up and out of play. Count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to the big dumper, Cal Raleigh, especially for people that think that Dan is a good manager, which he clearly isn't. You know, again, we're stuck with him. You know, he's better than Scott Service, but by how much? Barely. He ain't no Lou Piniella. 3-2 pitch. High and away. And Cal with a walk. There we go. Trident's up. It's not the home run that Cal and the fans want, but hey, at least he's on base. Next up, center fielder in the 3-hole, Julio Rodriguez. MLB history, 100-plus home runs, 100-plus stolen bags. In the first 4 seasons, Bobby Bonds, Barry Bonds' dad, Darryl Strawberry, Julio Rodriguez, and Bobby Witt Jr. And again, I got to see Bobby Witt Jr. and Julio as rookies at T-Mobile, and I got a Julio foul ball in that game, a memory that I'll never forget. And I could already tell how good Bobby Witt Jr. was as a rookie, that he was going to be a Hall of Fame type of guy. And obviously, he's still proven that point here in 2026. Incredible player. 0-1 pitch, little dribbler, double play, throw to first, and Julio hits into a rare double play, and that is 2 away. Next up in the 4-hole, it's Nails, Josh Naylor. Give me the leg kick, baby. Bottom of the 7th inning, 4-1 Seattle. And first pitch for Naylor, pops it up a mile. You got 3 Rangers going towards the ball and finally caught, and that is out number 3. All right, let's go to the top of the 8th inning, and let's see if we can hang on to some good vibes and win this game. Let's go to the top of the 8th and see who's up next here for the Rangers. All right, Paisley is here and better spirits, not sick anymore, which is great. All right, we gained 3 more subs since the last commercial break. Appreciate you. 87 to go to get to 23,900. 187 to get to 24,000. Let's go. Best game we played in a minute, which is a good thing, besides the Emerson Hancock game where, you know, we know what happened there. All right, we're at 112 likes, 38 to get to 150. See if we can end up hitting 38 more out of 185 in the room to get to that number. We should. Next up for the Rangers, 0 for 2 with a base on ball and a K, center fielder Evan Carter. Batting second, playing the first time in the series, 8-hole hitter. 2 for 3, having a good day, Ezekiel Duran. And batting third, 0 for 3 with a K, catcher in the 9-hole, Kyle Higashioka. And what are we going to do with the pitching staff? We went with Kirby, and he only gave up that 1 home run late. But other than that, he was fantastic. Josh Young ended up getting that, solo dinger. And then we had Brash, for 1 batter, and then decided to go to Spire, and that was a mistake. And then went with Bizzardo, and at least got us out of the jam. But, now we got 2 innings to go. Are we going to have Bizzardo come out again? I would assume that we would, but we will see. And then obviously Mooney will be coming out in the 9th. But again, if we get the good Mooney, which has only been like 1 time this year, then, we can end up, being confident that we can get the victory. But how many outings has Mooney been bad? Like 5 or 6. So, we had the first loss in the meltdown, obviously against the Padres, and my heart and my mind cannot handle one of those again. All right, they got Bizzardo back out there, so at least he learned from the Brash mistake. First pitch from Bizzardo to Carter, 1-0 count. Except Brash was probably more locked in than Bizzardo was. 1-0 pitch, high and away. Bizzardo looking a little shaky here. 2 balls and no strikes to Evan Carter. Trident's up. Let's go M's. 2-0 pitch, finally getting a strike there. Oh no, they got Jose Ferrer warming up. Golly. We should be spending more money on the bullpen. Every single team in baseball. More games are won than lost in the bullpen than any other position group. So why don't people spend more money there? I know if I was in charge of that, that's where I would be spending my money. 3 balls and 1 strike to Evan Carter. 3-1 pitch, nice strike, high and inside, takes that strike looking. 3 balls and 2 strikes, count as full to Evan Carter. 3-2 pitch, low and at the knees, and that's a walk there by Bizzardo. That is not ideal. Next up in the 8-hole, second baseman Ezekiel Duran, and we need a strikeout and a double play, or a double play and a strikeout. First pitch, high and inside, 1-0 count. All right, Paisley went to go lay down. 1-0 pitch, popped up into right field, fading foul. Sinker, 94 miles an hour there by Bizzardo. 1 ball and 1 strike with a runner at first and no outs. Top of the 8th inning, 4-1 Mariners. The best game that we played since the Emerson Hancock game against the Padres a few days ago. Throw to first, and he is safe. I mean, Ferrer had a chance, to be, somewhere like 3rd or 4th best guy in the pen, but again, with Gabe and Ferrer as lefties, they're not really that trustworthy most of the time. And popped up. Julio is there. And Julio running a mile to get to that ball. Thankfully, we have a very competent center fielder in Julio Rodriguez. He's been making a lot of plays today in center field. And I'm really blessed that we have him. And I know a lot of fans, get frustrated that he starts slow in the first half of the year, but there's not another center fielder in the game that I would rather have than Julio Rodriguez. I love him. And there's going to be a time he does heat up, in the first half and the second half. And he might end up having 40 home runs, 40 stolen bags. And, who knows? Maybe before he ends up retiring, he'll end up having a 50 home run season. It's possible. One-0 pitch. Big swing and a miss by Higashioka. 1 ball and 1 strike with a runner at first with 1 out. If we can get a slow dribbler up the middle by Higashioka, that would be great. But I'm not really sure. Bizzardo, his control and location, he's a little wild here today. 1-1 pitch. Popped him up. Get that. It's in foul territory. Get it, Naylor. Yes. And Naylor, right by the netting, ends up getting that ball. Nice job. I would have taken a double play, but hell, we'll take anything that we can get to get an out. Down goes Higashioka, And great job there by Josh Naylor with the defense in foul territory. And next up is Brandon Nimmo, and they're going to bring in Jose Ferrer. We're going to go lefty on lefty, and then let's hope that Ferrer doesn't give up a home run to Nimmo, who homered in game 1 off Logan Gilbert. Oh. I definitely would have liked to seen a little bit more of this guy, but, you know. All right, Jose Ferrer coming in, and hopefully he doesn't shit the bed. Remember, he was one of the guys that, blew the game for us against the Padres with Andres Munoz giving up that big hit, and then Randy got that ball in left field and bobbled it, and that extra run came home. So, it feels like we're going to win, but again, we said that in that Padre game. It's not over till it's over, and we have to make sure that, we get the job done. Put the foot on the gas. But I don't really trust Jose Ferrer. And he was a part of the trade for Harry Ford, so. Trust is earned, not given, right? And the only guys I trust in the pen are Brash and Bizzardo, which is kind of scary. But we'll see. Another day, another opportunity for Ferrer to make up for his mistakes in his last opportunity. But also another opportunity to fuck up, right? All right, Jose Ferrer. He doesn't have very many Seattle photos yet. He's got this promo photo here. But it's not very good resolution, so. 7 Ks to 1 walk, but that doesn't really tell the whole story. He does have 3 earned runs in 10 games, so. And again, Brandon Nimmo is a very crafty hitter, so you got to be very careful on how you pitch to a guy like Nimmo, even when he's 0 for 4. Same thing with Corey Seager. You can't get blinded by the fact if a guy goes 0 for 4 that you assume that he's going to go 0 for 5 no matter what you throw. So let's hope that we can get the pop-up ground out or a lucky strikeout here. Judah in the building, what's good? First pitch from Ferrer goes to first base. Tries to get Evan Carter sleeping. And he is safe. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Big swing and a miss. Nasty sinker there. One of the better pitches I've seen out of Ferrer on his first pitch. 0-1 count. Top of the 8th inning. Runner at first with 2 outs. Mariners up 4-1. But it's not over yet. 0-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss. Back-to-back sinkers. Similar location. Similar result. And now an 0-2 count. Nice job by Ferrer here, which is kind of shocking because he normally doesn't come out with the high heater like that. And not only that, he did it 2 times in a row. Let's see if he can end up finishing the job with a punch out here on Nimmo. 0-2 pitch. And a little dribbler for a hit. And now Evan Carter to third. First 2 pitches were good. And maybe a little too overconfident there. I'm going to get the strikeout. Not so fast. Now we got runners at first and third. And again, I do a lot of scouting on a lot of these players, going into the games and looking at how they've been doing against other teams. And I got the MLB package so I can watch every team play. And, Nimmo is a guy like Seager. You never, ever can count them out. And that's 1,000 career hits for Brandon Nimmo. He must have got my message. Next up is Corey Seager. Got to get you out, Seager. A couple years ago, he was Mr. October. Slow dribbler. Cole Young is there. Yes! And a nice throw to J.P. Crawford for out number 3. And we have to be blessed that we have a guy as good as Cole Young at defense. Let's go. Young saving the game. Nice job. And again, I don't know if I've seen a player improve as much from one year to the next besides Cole Young and Luke Raley this year. Unbelievable. Great job. And I love me some defense. Nice job, Cole. Getting Ferrer bailed out. I love great defensive players. I love great two-way players. That's why I love Cole Young, and maybe that's why, I don't have as much love for this player right here. Appreciate what he does in the box, but you're a nightmare in left field. All right, let's see what happens here. Let's go to the bottom of the 8th, and let's see if we can add on another run for a little bit more insurance. It's always good to have insurance, right? Next up, 1 for 3 with a run and a K, left fielder Randy Arozarena. Batting second, 1 for 3 with 2 runs, an RBI, and a home run. Right fielder, Luke Raley. Luke with a nuke. Can he do it again? And batting third, having a fantastic game, it's the Italian Stallion, Dominic Canzone, 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs and a K. Let's go Mariners. Trident's up. Let's go M's. And again, I'm not going to be, 100% right on every prediction, but again, I think if you end up watching games with me, you'll start to pick up on some of these feelings and vibes and whatnot. And, more times than not, we're going to come up with, 2, 3, 4, 5 predictions per game that will come true. And, sometimes the predictions are going to go in our favor. Sometimes the predictions are not going to go against us. But, as long as we win the games, that's really what it comes down to. Let's go to the bottom of the 8th inning, 4-1 Seattle. Trident's up. Let's go M's. And third inning for Cal Quantrill. First pitch from Quantrill to Randy. Takes a strike looking. 0-1 count. Oh-1 pitch, and Randy almost gets hit. Has to kind of jump out of the way. 1 ball and 1 strike to Randy Arozarena, and that's a very interesting stat that Goldie just mentioned, and I'm glad they have him on the Fox broadcast, that we haven't scored a run on the Ranger bullpen all year. Remember, we got swept by this team in Texas. This is payback. We put up a donut and a 0 yesterday. We need to win today with Kirby and tomorrow with Wu to win this series. And we got the Athletics next at home. We need to win 2 out of 3, and then we go on the road to the Cardinals. And we're terrible on the road, but again, their pitching is bottom 10 ERA. So if we can get some hits, we should be able to compete, even though Jordan Walker is seeing red. He has been amazing this year. 2 balls and 1 strike to Randy Arozarena. 2-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss, but gets a little piece of it and checks up on the catcher there, Higashioka. Looks like he's okay after the bat swung around and got a piece of him. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Randy Arozarena. Hey, it worked for Team Italy for the most part, but it's crazy. They didn't even play Miles Mastrobuoni or Dominic Canzone, really. Dom played early in the series, but late, when they could have used him, they should have played him, and he didn't even start. Barely even played in that tourney. But maybe that was the reason why he's doing a little bit better than some of the other guys. Pitch fouled off by Randy. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Cal Quantrill to Randy Arozarena. Come on, Randy. 2-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss. Down goes Arozarena, and that is 1 away. Next up in the 6th hole, Luke Raley. Never has had a multi-homer game as a Mariner. Was a part of the Dodger farm system. Obviously, you guys remember he was a part of the Tampa Bay Rays with Randy Arozarena. I'm so happy he's here, leading the team in batting average, home runs, and ribbies. 1-0 pitch, big swing and a miss. I mean, who would have predicted Luke Raley, out of all people on the team, to be number one in batting average, number one in home runs, and number one in ribbies, with 21, 22 games into the season? Absolutely no one. And he wasn't very good last year either, so that's what makes it so surprising and a feel-good story. 1-1 pitch, high and inside. Like, we kind of had an idea that Cole Young was going to be better than last year, but much better defensively, which is kind of an eye-opener, and he's getting better hitting as well. But with Luke, man, so happy that we have him on our team. 2-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss there for Luke. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Quantrill to Raley. But it's all about consistency, right? We like guys that are consistent. And Brandon Donovan's been consistent, and that's why we love him. Same thing with Luke Raley. 2-2 pitch from Quantrill. High and away. Good patience there by Luke Raley. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to our guy, Luke Raley. Luke, can we get another nuke? 3-2 pitch. And he pops it up and fading out of play. Three-two pitch, and that's a walk, baby. Nice job by Luke. And one thing I always liked about Luke Raley is his hustle. That's something that can't be taught. It's either you have it in you or you don't. And then obviously you can get yelled at by, the manager and the other coaches to improve on that. And some guys listen and some guys don't. But Raley is one of those guys that will always hustle, running to first base, trying to make plays in right field, and I appreciate that. Dominic Canzone, hard hit ball, all the way to the wall. Go, go, go. Run, Raley, run. And Raley makes it to the third because he has hustle. Let's go. Dominic Canzone ends up ripping it all the way to deep left field. And the Italian Stallion having a very good game. And if you notice, a lot of times Luke and Dom have a nice dynamic duo thing going. Just misses a home run by maybe about 5 feet. Nice job by Dominic Canzone. 3 for 4 day. One of the best days for him in a Seattle Mariner uniform besides that game he hit 3 home runs last year. Next up, another guy that I absolutely love, Cole Young. First pitch is high and away. 1-0 count. And again, remember I said at the beginning of the broadcast, 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits. We're at 4 runs, 9 hits right now. And again, we got runners at second and third with 1 out. Let's make it happen. 1-0 pitch from Quantrill to Young. High and inside. Great patience by Cole. And I can't wait for his brother from another mother, Colt Emerson, to get called up from the Tacoma Rainiers. Same thing with Cade Anderson. Can't wait for those 2 guys to get called up whenever that happens. It's going to really bring us a lot of flair, juice, swagger, aura when we get those 2 guys on this team. 2-0 pitch, hard hit ball up the middle, and it gets through to center field, and that's going to score 1 and maybe another. Go, yes! Woo! Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. Cole Young getting the job done. 2-run RBI single. Luke Raley with the speed and Dominic Canzone. I love ya. Sometimes the ESP is just fucking locked in a fucking game, let me tell you. Next up is Leo Rivas. And again, if anyone has really deserved to feel joy, it's us Mariner fans, especially with the expectations of trying to be able to do what we did last year and then kind of falling on our face a little bit here early on, but the division sucks, so it's not as bad as people think. And again, 6-1, I love it. 0-1 pitch, high and away. And again, if we can hang on to this victory, we got Brian Wu on the mound tomorrow. I mean, it's going to be amazing. And the game is early tomorrow, 1:10 Pacific, so make sure you plan accordingly, and you can hang out here with the Northwest Sports Fanatics. 0-2 pitch, high and away. Good eye there by Leo. And if we're really lucky, we'll get Brandon Donovan back tomorrow. But if we don't get him tomorrow with the left hip, kind of discomfort, we will get him for the Athletic game number 1 at home. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Quantrill de Rivas. 1-2 pitch, high and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Quantrill de Rivas. And Cole Young ends up getting us our first runs on the Ranger bullpen all year. Remember, we did get swept by them in Texas a few weeks ago. This feels fucking good. But we can't celebrate until it's over because we know what happened in that Padre game. 2-2 pitch. Rivas crushes it with a laser in right field, fading foul. Great souvenir for that fan about 25 rows back. Very similar to where I'll be sitting when we end up going to the 4th of July game against the Toronto Blue Jays. Yeah, well, normally Donovan misses 2 games. 2 games for the growing, 2 games with the flu, and he's already missed a game, so. And stolen bag, safe! And he's going to go to third. Yes! Woo! Let's go. Cole Young stealing second base and getting to third. I love it. Great. And again, we've been, caught sleeping at first base. We haven't been able to run the bags very well. Hell, remember yesterday, the third base coach sent Josh Naylor home, right? And he had no chance. He was out by a mile. And now the Ranger manager is bitching and moaning because Cole ended up getting to third. Young safe at third with a throwing error by the catcher, Higashioka. And all the Ranger fans that were in the stream earlier, they have exited. Bottom of the 8th inning, 6-1 Mariners. Trident's up. Let's fucking go. Bottom of the 8th, 6-1 Seattle. And I said, if we get 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits, we're going to have a chance to compete. Guess what? 6 runs, 10 hits, right on the money. I love it. 3-2 pitch. And Rivas fouls that one off into left field. Higashioka with the wild throw, and Cole Young scampering to third. I love it, baby. No one's taking Cole's job. I mean, it's his job for the foreseeable future. If anyone's job is going to be threatened, it's J.P. Crawford for Colt Emerson. And then at some point, Cade Anderson will replace Luis Castillo, And then hopefully we get Ryan Sloan getting called up as well, because they want Sloan and Cade to be starters, not bullpen guys. But, we got to wait for some of these others, and we'll see how Bryce Miller does in his rehab stint. 3-2 pitch. Popped up. Oh, and they lose it. And it actually goes behind 2 players into the netting. And sometimes it's nice to be a little lucky, too. Mike in the building. Man, you got some great timing, man. 6-1 Mariners, and it feels good, especially after putting up a 0 yesterday. And obviously there's going to be casual, fair weather Mariner fans that just, give it up, and there's going to be overly negative. Oh, we put up a 0 yesterday. Why am I even watching today? Well, this is why you watch. 3-2 pitch. Rivas pops it up. Should be a routine play here. And let's see if it's deep enough for that runner from third, Cole Young, to tag up. Go, Cole, run! Run, Cole! Run, Cole! Yes! And Young scores. 7-1 Mariners. Fuck yeah! And these are the days that you're proud to say that you're a Mariner fan. And we haven't had too many of those in 2026, but this feels good. And we know, when it rains, it pours, when shit goes bad. But Uncle Mo, the momentum, when positive things happen, it can carry over to tomorrow. And we got Brian Wu on the bump. And this is exactly what we needed for Brian Wu and the rest of the Seattle Mariner, team and the fan base. Next up is J.P. Crawford. And really, we have this victory to be able to, JP is the one that started it. He got the double on the first at bat. And if you can get on in that first at bat and come home because of Julio Rodriguez, that sets the tone. And we haven't looked back since, even though Dan Wilson's decision making with the bullpen was a little shaky. Let's be real. 0-1 pitch, takes a strike looking, low and away. Splitter, 86 miles an hour by Quantrill. No balls and 2 strikes to J.P. Crawford. Let's go, JP. It's so essential to be able to get guys on in those first 3 batters in a game. 0-2 pitch. Ends up being a ball there from Quantrill. 1 ball and 2 strikes to J.P. Crawford. Splitter, low and away, 85 miles an hour. 1 ball and 2 strikes to J.P. Crawford. Let's go. 1-2 pitch, low and away. Great eye there by J.P. Bottom of the 8th inning, 7-1 Seattle. Two pitch, low and away. I mean, even this could potentially be JP's last year, but he kind of feels like he's a part of the Mariner family, and even having him as like a DH option or a backup, that would be money well spent, especially with injuries and whatnot. Considering, unless you want to spend money on guys like Connor Joe and Rob Refsnyder, I would rather have a guy like JP back on the team, even if he's not starting. It might be a little bit of an ego hit, having, a young guy take your spot in Colt Emerson, but I actually want JP back on this team if possible, but I just don't know if the money would be right. 3-2 pitch, and JP, hard hit ball, deep left field, yes, and it's a ground rule double. Oh, baby. JP says, you want me back? I'll show you why. And JP Crawford with a ground rule double. Northwest Sports Fanatics loves it. Rick Riz loves it. And guess what? JP, he says, I like those kind words from Orion. I love it, and I'll show you why I deserve to be on this team next year. Nice job, JP. Definitely a fan favorite. Next up is the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. And I think really the only thing left for us at this point is maybe a Cal Raleigh or Julio home run to kind of put that cherry on top, that icing on the cake. I mean, unless JP is willing to take less money. Yeah, and plus we already have Dominic Canzone at that spot as well. So, but again, based on, the money that's spent for other guys, I think it would be money well spent, not, you have to make sure you don't overpay, but again, I mean, look at the money wasted on Rob Refsnyder and Connor Joe. I mean, put those 2 salaries together and give me JP back. That would be money, better well spent. I mean, I'd rather get production rather than garbage. All right, here we go. Big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Is it time for a big home run for Cal? First pitch, fouls it off behind the plate. We got a runner at second. It would put us at 9-1 if he was able to get a hold of one here. Pitch fouled off. Splitter, 85 miles an hour by Quantrill. But I mean, hell, at this point, I'll just take a single or double out of Cal, But home run would be definitely the icing on the cake, the cherry on top. 0-1 pitch. He goes for the moonshot and misses. Big swing and a miss on that cutter right down the middle. No balls and 2 strikes to the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. And it's nice to have the DH position figured out, not like 60 games in with like Mike Ford or Carlos Santana or Jared Vogelback, and we actually have a player that's, not a guy that's big, that's going to strike out or, get the home run. You actually can get singles and doubles out of Canzone at the DH, which is great. And he can play defense if we need him to, and right field if needed. And remember, we don't even have Victor Robles back yet either. 1-2 pitch. And that's the guy I'm really waiting, to come back. Obviously, Miles Mastrobuoni is due to come back here pretty soon as well. So another guy that could, have a chance to come into a game that will be better than Connor Joe or Rob Refsnyder, Victor Robles and Miles Mastrobuoni. We like those guys a little bit more. And they're a little bit more proven as well. So bottom of the 8th, runner at second with 2 outs. Mariners up 7-1. And if anyone needed this, it's everyone here in the room and every Mariner fan that's watching this game globally on Fox. 2 balls and 2 strikes to big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Victor's just been hurt for weeks and weeks and weeks, but he'll be back soon. Two-two pitch from Quantrill to big dumper. Big swing and a miss. His timing is still off. from participating in that WBC. And down goes Cal, but not after. We end up having a monster 3-run 8th inning, and now we have 7 runs, 11 hits, and we're on the brink of beating this Ranger team for the first time in 2026. Let's go. Refsnyder over Robles? Hell no. You realize Xavier Refsnyder has 0 hits this year. He's fucking terrible. I mean, the only benefit of Refsnyder is he robbed 1 home run in right field. Other than that, he is terrible. No thank you. Rick Riz agrees. Terrible. Let's see who's up next here in the top of the 9th for the Texas Rangers. Next up for the Rangers, 2 for 4, left fielder in the 3-hole, Wyatt Langford. Batting second, 0 for 3 with a base on ball and a K, first baseman Jake Berger. And batting third, filling in for Jock Peterson, will be Josh Smith. There's a Josh Smith photo there. And this is going to be Andres Munoz, right? And we know his grip is off. He's already had multiple interviews, and if he can't have his best pitch, obviously he's looked not good this year. But we assume that this is who's coming into the game, right? And it's not. It's going to be Cole Wilcox, the AAA pitcher. And let's hope that Cole Wilcox doesn't have a fucking meltdown. I mean, we're up 6 runs. But again, we were up 4 runs against the Padres, and Mooney and Jose Ferrer lost for us. But it feels like 6 runs, even if Wilcox gives up a run, 2 at the most, we should still be able to win this game. So, I don't think Dom can play left. Dom is DH and he plays right, so that's gonna, and then also you got Victor Robles out there that can play right. You got Luke Raley. Maybe the guy that could have the best chance of playing left would be Luke. And then remember, we got Lazaro Montez in the farm that's a right fielder, So, I mean, at some point, we just need to get fucking rid of Randy, and then figure out the left side, and then, everything will end up falling into place after that. So, we will see. And now we got Cole Wilcox coming out, and I wouldn't want Randy at DH. I mean, Randy obviously is a better hitter than a defender for ground balls and left, but I would rather go Canzone than Randy at DH, but who knows? Who knows what will happen in the future? All right, let's see if this AAA pitcher that's filling in for Carlos Vargas, who's still injured, can get the job done. Wilcox at times has been good, but at times has been really rough. So let's see what happens here. First pitch to Langford, fouls it off, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, and there's the first hit of the game for Cole Wilcox. Little dribbler right over the head of Cole Young. And again, not bringing Mooney in is one thing, right? And obviously if you had 4 or 5 opportunities and you've only looked good once and you had a meltdown a few days ago against the Padres, obviously he's not ready to come in. But this would have been a good time to bring Matt Brash in the game, and these are the decisions by the manager, that, people want to argue that, Dan Wilson's a good manager. Is he? First pitch right down the middle to Jake Whataburger, 0-1 count. But again, this would be the perfect time to have Matt Brash, be the closer until Mooney gets right. And then once Mooney gets right, then you can make the swap. But, 0-1 pitch. And there for a strike. No balls and 2 strikes to Jake Whataburger. Jacob in the building. What's good? Top of the 9th inning. Runner at first with no outs. Mariners up 7-1. And that says a lot about where Mooney is at mentally and physically to bring in Cole Wilcox to close the game out, a AAA pitcher, filling in for Carlos Vargas. But let's see if he can get it done here. 0-2 pitch, big swing and a miss, and down goes Jake Berger, and that's the good version of Cole Wilcox. Northwest Sports Fanatics and Rick Riz, they love it, and that is 1 away. Next up, filling in for Jock Peterson is Josh Smith. First pitch to Smith, high and away, sinker, 97 miles an hour, 1-0 count. One-0 pitch, And a hard hit ball. And that gets past Cole Young. And not in time to J.P. Crawford off the deflection. And I was thinking, I didn't want to say it because I didn't think it was going to happen, but I could have said, this is a perfect time for a double play and we end the game. But when you got Cole Wilcox on the mound, I can't really say it. All right, now they got runners at first and second. And, Dan Wilson being a mastermind as a manager obviously is not true. And we got to find a way to be able to get this last 2 outs and win this game. Next up is Josh Young. And remember, he was the guy that ended up hitting the home run off Kirby before he exited. Cannot get a 3-run blast to make this game 7-4 under no circumstances. First pitch to Young, high and away, 1-0 count. Pitch, low and away. 2 balls and no strikes to Josh Young. Come on, Mariners. I'm sick and tired of us not being able to finish strong. I mean, we're up by 6 runs, and it feels like, we should win this game, but with another walk, it'll be bases loaded. Pitches low and away. 3 balls and no strikes to Josh Young. Come on. And this is what we call poor managing. 3-0 pitch. Finally gets a strike to Josh Young right down the middle. 3 balls and 1 strike with runners at first and second and 1 out. And I would love for us to get a double play and just to end this fucking game so we can celebrate. 3-1 pitch. High and inside and fucking A. Bases loaded. Good decision, Dan Wilson. Let's bring in the AAA pitcher to end the game. I mean, I wouldn't really have been, comfortable with Munoz either, but that's why Matt Brash shouldn't have been used such early on. You need to make sure you have a guy that's trustworthy at the end of the game. Pizzardo at the 6th, 7th, and then Brash at the end, 8th, 9th. Next up is Evan Carter. Big swing and a miss with bases loaded on the first pitch. Slider, 87 miles an hour, 0-1 count. They got Cole Wilcox, the AAA pitcher that called up for Carlos Vargas in the game. 0-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss by Carter. Thank God. No balls and 2 strikes with bases loaded and 1 out. I've seen these games before as well. Brash can't warm up because he already pitched, and he only pitched 6 pitches, and then Dan, an idiot, decided to move on from him. 0-2 pitch, popped up. It's in foul territory. Yes! Cole Young! And the runner tags from third, and they score a run, but thankfully we're up 6, so it's okay. And now it's 7-2 Mariners, with runners now at first and second with 2 outs. Great job by Cole Young. But Dan Wilson is a good manager, they said. Top of the 9th inning, runners at first and second and 2 outs. 2 outs and 2 on for Ezekiel Duran. First pitch to Duran, high and away, 1-0 count. Well, it's not only gambling by Dan, it's just, in higher pressure situations, he's just not very intelligent. 1-0 pitch. Takes a strike right down the middle. He doesn't really know how to, quote unquote, manage the game. 1 ball and 1 strike to Ezekiel Duran. Big swing and a miss. Nice pitch there by Wilcox. 4-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour. Now we're 1 strike away from victory for the first time beating the Rangers in 2026. Let's go. One-two pitch. Hard hit ball, deep left field, and it is a big base knock all the way back to Randy. Holy hell. And that's going to score how many runs? Jesus Christ. Now it's 7-3 with runners at second and third. Do you understand, why we talk about Dan, so often lately? And again, to be fair, Mooney could have done the same thing or worse, because we can't trust him right now either, but golly. 7-1 turned into 7-2, turns into 7-3, and now with 1 big swing in the back, it could be 7-6. I mean, thankfully we had a 6-run lead going in, but this is the type of bullshit that I'm talking about. Now we got Kyle Higashioka up. Runners at second and third, and we're up by 4. He hits a home run. We're only up by 1. 1-0 pitch popped up and out of play. And now they got Mooney warming up. A little late for that. Dan. Come on, Cole. 1-1 pitch. There we go. Another strike. 1 strike away. Do not give up another fucking RBI. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Runners at second and third. 4-run lead. Don't give up the home run. Don't give up the RBI. Strike his ass out. 1-2 pitch. Low and at the knees. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Kyle Higashioka. 2-2 pitch. Fouls it off himself. Hopefully he's okay. Count still remains 2 balls and 2 strikes to Kyle Higashioka. Mariners fans chanting in the background. Come on, Seattle. Trident's up. Finish, Wilcox. 2-2 pitch to Higashioka. Jesus Christ. Wild, low and away. Luckily, Cal got that. And if he didn't, that would have brought in the runner from third home. 100%. And that runner from second would have advanced to third. And they got Brandon Nimmo on deck. Jesus. Finish. 3-2 pitch. And he walked him. Jesus Christ. Now you got bases loaded for Nimmo, and now we're going to have to bring in Mooney. You're a really good manager, Dan Wilson. Holy hell, I could manage better than you. Jesus Christ. Nimmo homered in game 1. Luckily, he didn't homer in game 2. But now, if Nimmo homers, it's 7-7. And we had a 6-run lead. This is the type of bullshit that I'm fucking talking about game in and game out. People say, forget about it. We can't, because this type of bullshit happens on the fucking daily. I wish we could forget it and put it behind us. Ridiculous. I mean, we're 1 strike away, 2 different batters. Nope. Big RBI. 1 strike away. Oh, a walk. And now we got bases loaded for fucking Nimmo. You know, and it's one of those things where you have a 6-run lead and you feel like, even if he gives up a couple, we're still going to win, until they end up getting an RBI and then another one and then another one and then a walk and then another hit. And then all of a sudden, you know, you're not in a very good mood or a situation. I mean, this was supposed to be, you know, a victory that we could celebrate, you know, for the first time in a long time. I mean, besides the Houston Astros mop, aka sweep, where we won 4 in a row. I mean, for a while there, I mean, it was really hard, right? We had a 5-game losing streak. We won 4 in a row against the Astros. We go to San Diego. We get their ass kicked by 3 games. We get swept, right? We get 0 in the first game in this one. And then we have a 6-1 lead, and now it's 7-3. 7-1 lead, and now it's 7-3. Ay. You know, and again, for all those people that want to defend Dan Wilson, I mean, just watch games with me, you know, and watch the situations that he puts us in. You know, instead of saving Matt Brash for the end, he brings him in early as the first guy, you know, off the bench, and then he only pitches him 6 pitches and says that's enough, and then has other guys go 2 innings. You know, like, make it make sense. Like, he's just ass fucking backwards in everything that he fucking does. But let's pray, Mariner fans. Let's come together. Let's pray that somehow, some way, that the good Mooney, you know, if he doesn't get a strikeout, I don't give a shit. Just get a pop-up. Get a ground out. Absolutely don't fuck this game up for us here. You know, and it's not only Dan with his choices in the bullpen, it's the splits and substituting guys out like Rayleigh and Canzone when a left-handed pitcher comes in. That shit don't work. First pitch from Mooney. Big swing and a miss by Nimmo. Thank God. 0-1 count. And again, you can tell how good Munoz is going to be first 7 pitches. Hopefully we don't get to that point. Hopefully it's already over within the first 3 or 4. Nimmo is 1 for 5. 0-1 pitch from Mooney. There we go. Another strike looking. And again, this is the best that we've seen Mooney look in quite a while. No balls, 2 strikes, bases loaded, 2 outs. Finish the job, Mooney. We need the good Mooney, not the bad Mooney. 0-2 pitch to Nimmo, incoming. 0-2 pitch. Hard hit ball into left field, fading foul. Mooney on the mound, and Brandon Nimmo in the box. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Come on, Mooney. 0-2 pitch. Yes! Yes! Hey, that shit was ugly as hell, right? Up 7-1, and then it ended up being 7-3. Bases loaded, could have been 7-7. But again, the good Mooney. And again, when you pay attention to details like we do here, you know, you can kind of figure out how things are going to go. Great job there. The Seattle Mariners hang on for their first victory versus the Texas Rangers. And guess what? We got Brian Wu on the mound tomorrow. And guess what? We're going to fucking win that game tomorrow as well. Final score, Seattle Mariners 7, Texas Rangers 3. And when the Mariners win, what do? We fucking dance. Mariners win, Mariners win, Mariners win. Fuck yeah. That shit was scary as hell. And it definitely shows you the inability of Dan Wilson in his decision-making, which is an F very often. And again, another F for him. But thankfully, Andres Munoz, even though his grip has been an issue, he was good enough to get us out of the jam and to get it done. 7 runs, 11 hits, no errors, 3 runs, 11 hits, 2 errors for the Rangers. Mooney gets the save, Kirby gets the win, and Mariner fans can rejoice. Now let's go over the stat line real quick for both teams, and then we can end up celebrating. All right, let's see what we got here. So we got Brandon Nimmo ended up going 1 for 6. Corey Seager, 0 for 4, which is extremely rare. Wyatt Langford, 3 for 5. He had a good game. Jake Berger, 0 for 4. Jock Peterson ended up going 1 for 2. And then they brought in Josh Smith that went 1 for 1. Josh Young, 2 for 4 and a home run. That one home run on Kirby, which was a damn shame. But then Luke Raley homered after that in the next inning, so all was right in the world. Evan Carter, 0 for 2. Ezekiel Duran, 3 for 5. And Kyle Higashioka, 0 for 4. And now, more importantly, let's go over to Mariner players. And really, we owe a big part of this victory to J.P. Crawford getting the double in the first at-bat, setting the tone. 2 for 5 with a run. Great job, JP. Cal Raleigh struggles continue, 0 for 4, putting too much pressure on himself after that 60 home run season. Number 3, Julio Rodriguez, 1 for 4. Josh Naylor with the leg kick, 1 for 4. Randy Arozarena, 1 for 4. Luke Raley, 1 for 3 with a big home run. Dominic Canzone with one of the best games of the year, 3 for 4. Cole Young, 2 for 3. And Leo Rivas, 0 for 3, but then had that nice sac fly for that RBI. And then obviously we know with George Kirby, obviously got the job done. 5.2 innings pitched, 7 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, and 5 Ks. And again, it finally feels good to be able to celebrate a victory, even though it got incredibly ugly late, giving up 2 runs there in the 9th. And it could have been much, much worse. Well, I appreciate you guys very, very much. Shout out to all the people that ended up showing some love. Isaac with the 20. Captain with a 10er, Alec with a 2er, Mando with a 5er. And again, I appreciate all the people that liked, sub, donated, commented, shared. And again, we will be back tomorrow at 1:10 Pacific with Brian Wu on the mound. And if we get run support, 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits, we should be able to compete tomorrow and hopefully get the series win. Next series after that will be a 3-game set at home against the Athletics, which won't be easy. Just like when we played the Angels and Joe Adell, we remember that game. And then we go on the road to play the St. Louis Cardinals, which will be tough because we suck on the road this year. But team ERA for the Cardinals, they're bottom 10. So Jordan Walker has been lighting it up in the box. But, as far as pitching, we should hopefully be able to get going on the road against the Cardinals, we hope. Well, I love you guys and I appreciate you guys. You guys can celebrate. throw a drink back for your boy. I'm going to go on a nice walk with the pup, celebrate the victory. Final score, Seattle Mariners 7, Texas Rangers 3. And I got one question for you. Who you know talks sports like us? Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, and I am out. Tridents up. Go Mariners.